Because I thought you might have, you would have, maybe.
Yeah. Woke up.
Done, son. Yeah, King Chalk Entertainment. Here we go. If you haven't already, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Check us live and become a part of the show on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube Wednesday and Thursday at 11 p.m. and Friday and Saturday at 1 a.m. Central Standard Time. Yeah. While you're playing the game, working out, cleaning, or whatever, check out the more refined audio versions of the show on Spotify, Apple, Anchor, and more. Keyword King Chaka ENT. Yeah. Shouts out to Pat, Doc, Deuce, Curtis, Brendan, Elliott, Juanita, Jay Lethal, Tariq, my Twitch follower, Francisco, and others for always supporting the channel. Yeah. Race, spirituality, politics. Let's talk about it. We generate interest into what has happened and what is happening in our world, therefore creating activists. Let's go. Dale gas, baby. Hey.
Dime qué tú quieres, papi. Dime qué tú quieres, papi.
We're gonna take a little break right now. When we come back, we're gonna take a little break right now. When we take a little break right now. When we come back, we're gonna take a little break right now. We're gonna take a little break right now. When we come back, we're gonna take a little break right now. When we take a little break right now. When we come back, we're gonna take a little break right now. When we
Your boots on, we finna march, we finna march, it's time to march. Strap your boots on, we finna march, we finna march, it's time to march. It's better to gun, never to run, so here we come, to sever the lung. Meticulous to the letter, ridiculous think you ever get with this lyricist. I really think I'll be feeling this shit forever. Gotta get my shit together, regardless of the weather. And if I think my mental's clever, smoking a swisher, sweet on leather, them niggas can't keep me tethered. I'll fuck around, pull the levers, hot while you niggas wearing sweaters. And they got people in place wherever. I really wanna shake the ladder, or maybe it makes me smarter. Really it makes me harder, make me better to raise my daughter. You people gon' check the order. How many wanna be a martyr? How many is getting larger? Any respect the father. Strap your boots on, we finna march, we finna march. It's time to march. Strap your boots on, we finna march, we finna march. It's time to march. Live slide, situation, faces, and names. Live slide, catching cases, chasing them games. Why you gotta kill for 15 seconds of fame? And why I keep it real but still expecting to change? Why do I feel like redirecting my pain? Smiling while I'm saying to myself I'm insane. Hating for your health, you can't help but be lame. Obsessed with the wealth and it's melting your brain. I done heard them discussions about cases and planes, and I done seen repercussions, I ain't touching the game. Choose the pictures you like, we just making the frame. You can have a light, but we taking the flame. Strap your boots on, we finna march. We finna march, it's time to march. Strap your boots on, we finna march. We finna march, it's time to march.
It's better than gun, never to run. Either way, ball to the righteous ones. I'm a soldier, dressed in fatigue, until up my boots, ain't scared of no one. Ready for war, even if I'm asleep. Waking up, busting these niggas on sight. I'm shining like a motherfucker, even the blind can see the light. Y'all think I'm ready, but we come with the heat that make y'all do it again. Remain the same as we keep it real. The format bitch niggas could never win. And I'm always ready to attack, making sure that you ain't coming back. Even these bitches don't get no slag when these boots are fucking black. Nickel.
Hey, how y'all doing out there? Y'all feel? Remember, we want you to be an activist. And don't take my word for it. Look that shit up. Please. What up, Pat? You there?
Yo,
Yeah. How you feel, man?
feeling pretty good, man. How about yourself?
I can't complain. I got a disclosure. Uh this is I'm sipping tonight for the Friday show. I don't know. I always feel like I don't know. I guess it's like a professional thing because I always feel like I need to disclose that when I'm, because a lot of the stuff we talk about is academic. Like a lot of time we get pretty academic. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, if I, the liquor might start talking after a while. I'm just disclosure. Anyways, you seen anything in the news?
Mm, no, I hadn't really looked much at the news.
Well, the Ukraine thing is gaining a lot of steam. The Ukraine conflict. That Joe Rogan quote, what's the other guy's name? Peterson.
Jordan Peterson,
Yeah, that quote is getting steam too. That it went
the
viral.
the quote.
Well, yeah, they taking clips from that Joe Rogan show, and like a lot of people are mad. Shit, I didn't know that fan was on. Did you hear that?
Man,
Yeah, they're mad. A lot of people are mad. There's a Don Lemon clip. I might play it. What else? The damn journalists in Mexico keep getting killed like crazy. The reason why I put home demolition in the title was because of what's going on in Palestine, Israel. So I don't know. I always kind of want to talk about that. I got a soft heart for that because I can't help but to see the analogies between that and the American stories, like the exact same story, and it's happening in real time over there. So whenever I'm watching those stories, it like hits home because I feel like some of my ancestors probably went through the exact same thing.
yeah.
Like I can feel it viscerally. You know what I mean? Like I feel it. Like I start getting angry. Like it was my people.
Well, I mean, I guess it's depending on how far back you can, reach into your DNA.
Yeah.
You probably can place yourself right there because it's practically the same. It's the same people pretty much, but I mean, if you want to say a different area, but we're all connected. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
we are global people, and those are dark skinned you know, well, they spanned in ranges, and their skin tones do look a lot like us Americans. I'm talking about the real Palestinians.
Yeah, no, I know what you
They,
mean.
yeah, they range in skin tones, but they do look a lot like us as far as skin tone. Yeah,
Yeah, I no, I mean I think that I mean we shoot they're probably more like us than not. But I mean pretty much I mean black people we range in so many shades to where I mean it's at times it's hard to really tell because I mean I mean honestly like a lot of times you won't really know the difference in a lot of black people until you hear them talk.
yeah. Or like they tell you where they're from and shit like that. They let you know. That's when you know you'd be like, oh, okay, this is a different
Yeah.
nigga.
Yeah.
Yeah, global people, and I think what a lot of people tend to forget is that all the phenotypes, every single phenotype on the planet comes from the the melanated people. You know what I'm saying? All the phenotypes, everything, even blonde hair, blue eyes,
Hmm.
all that,
Yeah.
all of it. There's
Yeah.
none. Mother, mother, whatever you want to call her, she had the genes, and her genes are in every single person that's on the planet. And she was a sister.
Yeah.
Can't nobody argue with that.
Well,
So yeah. What else? It's a bunch of shit. Like I don't know. I'm gonna start off. I'm gonna just scroll a bit
I also
on.
saw you put up police on there, so
Oh yeah, that's the other thing. Because I have been meaning. Thank you for saying that. Because I had been meaning to read. There's an article, and I meant to read it yesterday. I hope I still got it pulled up. Let me see. I meant to read this freaking article yesterday. Yes, I still have it. Okay, cool. It's the real news. I don't know if I want to go into it right now, but we're gonna go into that. Yeah. So yeah, the police acting up, and like just really weird stuff. The thing about the journalists being killed in Mexico that could be connected to the police because there's a traffic of guns that go into Mexico and they use them for crimes and they're smuggled from the United States. They're bought either on the border or right at the border or whatever, and then they're used for crimes and then they move around. These are dirty guns. They're bought for that purpose. And so that could be connected to police in certain ways, because there's so much fucking corruption going on. I remember a rap song where the rapper was talking about he bought his gun from a cop and it was a dirty gun. Before I'm gonna come back around to that. I'm gonna. Oh, we lost you. Are you back? I'm gonna
all
come
right.
back around. I'm gonna come back around to that. What I was talking about with the cops and stuff, and just kind of scroll on Instagram for a little while, and then we'll come back to those topics.
That's cool.
This look at this post right here. Jeff Zintner must have been a tweet. Somebody reposted this on Instagram. It says, "Hey teenagers, pay close attention to the books people try to ban. Then make a beeline to read those books if you can. Find out for yourself why those people want that book banned. Find out for yourself if they can be trusted to know what's best for you." And that just popped right up on my Instagram, and I was thinking that's pretty damn good advice.
Well, you know what they do now, or well, not now, but what they've been doing more often than uh than not. Instead of banning a book, they fucking raise the damn prices on them. Like there's some books like you might not you if you're able to find it, the few that might be still lingering, shoot, $1,000, 250. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, some of them might be up to $10,000 based on
And that's what's happening. And then, like, what all of the dystopian novels and science fiction movies that we've seen over the years, a lot of them are like they're burning books or something. It was some movie called The Fireman or some shit like that. I can't remember that. And it really hit me hard. And I think that one was based on a novel. and they were burning books. They would come around and if books were contraband, and they had a police force, and it was like a fire department, and they would come around and they would burn books. It was crazy. I can't remember. If anybody out there know what I'm talking about, go ahead and put that in the comments, because I can't remember the name of the title of that movie, but it struck me really heavily, bro. It was like a dystopian future where they were burning fucking books. So what's the difference
Shit,
between burning
that made.
books and banning them?
What's the difference in it? I
Yeah,
mean, um, I guess it means that they're really still available. It's just that they're trying to outlaw it for, I don't know. Like, I mean, maybe they
it makes
can't
it
get all those books. Like,
yeah, it makes it hard or difficult or impossible to get some books or whatever. You know what I mean? So that, I
yeah,
mean, you
that
might
they
as well
can't.
have burned it,
Yeah, they can't reprint it or something like that. You
right?
know, if they ban it, and I guess as they find them, they'll probably get rid of them the best way they can. But
Yeah, the hard copies. But either way, they get buried because you always got all these books coming out every fucking year. So you just got books on tops of books. So you got to swim through those books to find the ones, and the ones that they don't want you to read are hidden and hard to find.
yeah, well, I mean, the thing about it is that people are discovering more the truth of the world they're living in and the history, that you know things that has taken place that you know will it doesn't really help the people who are in power now to be able to keep the power, because like a lot of their children, grandchildren, great grandchildren, they're not the same type of people. Like
Right.
you know they're actually like,
The world has changed, and
yeah.
and that's where I believe in evolution. What up, Deuce? Let me read a couple more of these. It says, the same people screaming about Joe Rogan's right to express himself are banning books in our schools. What a country! Like I said, Joe Rogan is viral right
Hey, what's
now,
going on,
and
man?
not
What's going on?
what's going on. And you know
What's
that
up?
Neil Diamond, I want to say his name, Neil Diamond, did an ultimatum to Spotify, and like he's gonna pull his catalog or something like that if they don't stop streaming Joe Rogan or whatever, behind the recent comments that he made. And Spotify was like, shit, whatever, bro, and blocked his whole account or whatever the fuck. So they basically took Joe Rogan's side, and you're a dumbass if you think they're not. They just paid this dude like $30 million or some shit like that for a year contract. I don't know. I don't know what the numbers is. Y'all forgive me. I suck at the numbers. They just paid him a shit ton of money. He just renewed his contract. He's like the most popular fucking streaming fucking show that is out there. So they're
Very
gonna look at that.
relevant.
They want their money. They don't give a damn like about your fucking opinion or how you feel about whatever the hell you angry, whatever the hell. That's making them money. They don't give a damn. They want
But
them
what
streams.
what does he have? Did he give any kind of argument of why Joe Rogan stuff is
It was
so?
about the comments recently, the stuff that's went viral.
Which one? Like about the white, the black, the
Yeah, I don't know exactly the specific comments, but I believe it was the ones from that episode. I don't know if it was the black white ones or
okay. So
what was
see,
the
and
other
I'm not subscribed to Joe Rogan, but I guess I'm gonna have to go find this video so I can see the full length
Yeah, I don't even know the
video.
name of the video, but it's probably easy to find because Jordan Peterson ain't gonna be on every one of his episodes. So
Yeah, I think that's gonna be the main thing is the him with um Jordan
whoever,
Peterson.
yeah. So let me read this. It says, if you want to ban books with nudity, incest, and genocide, I have some news to tell you about what's in the Bible. The books that the world calls immoral are the books that show the world its own shame. This one, the children of conservatives. If those kids could read, they'd be very upset.
Bam.
Ban assault rifles, Texas, not books. So, this is what's happening though, y'all. They are actually, They're pulling books like crazy, left and fucking right.
Man, there's they're fighting the
God
inevitable. I
damn,
mean,
she got some
what is wait a minute, hold on. I was
I'll
looking
go back. I'll
elsewhere.
go back. This is the randomness of the randomness of the internet.
Who said it don't look like much? Oh shit. Much.
ass. Like a
Yeah.
whole lot of.
What
What was you
happened? What
saying,
the hell?
Pat?
No, I
This is
said much.
a horrible wreck. No, before that, before we got distracted by the booty, you were
Oh.
saying something.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're fighting against the inevitable. I mean, they're fighting against the universe. I mean, like, there's certain things like there's an expiration date to everything. And, especially when it's filled with lies and falsehoods, you know, like that won't live as much as goodness, like, righteousness and fairness, justice. Like, I mean, when you're everything that you depend on is truly against nature, like it's going to fail. Like,
Yeah. And the thing is though, see, this is all very serious, and it's also has been going on for a while. Like they've been heading this direction, and for whatever reason, they've been handed this opportunity to pull a lot of this shit off that they've been wanting to pull off for the longest. And the thing is, that's what I want to emphasize with people is Texas has an abnormal influence on the textbooks and other books across the nation for whatever reason. We don't know. I mean, y'all go look it up, but for whatever reason, Texas has a huge influence over the rest of the nation related to especially textbooks, school books, college books, and K through 12 books. So the books that Texas bans affects these other states who don't have nothing to do with it, who may not agree with it.
yeah. Um, I mean, because my thing is like, you know, if somebody's writing books, like one state or one idealism should not be able to.
It's just the way it has happened because Texas buys so much books. So that's what it has to do with. It has to do with the market. So Texas has a whole bunch of schools. They buy a lot of books. So they kind of choose which books gets used across the nation in schools because of their buying power.
I honestly thought they were getting away from textbooks in school. Because I know in our school district, and I think for several around the area, but my daughter and they have laptops.
Yeah, but you still gotta. There's books, bro. Every class. So even if they just have the laptop, they have to download these PDFs versions of these textbooks. It's totally a part of the curriculum always.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, so no matter what, and all the way through college, it's still the same way.
I guess
The,
I thought it didn't because she don't bring any books home, so that's why I was like, well, shit. Maybe
they're on.
everything is all digital now.
Yeah, they're on her computer. So the thing is, though, what you also have to understand is there's an economic thing that's related to this as far as the sale of these books, okay? Because there's money made off of these books being sold, and that's part of the structure that this relationship between I don't know, the economy or capitalism and education. I don't really know what you want to call that or whatever, but there's a relationship going on related to, making money and education. So these books make money. They sell these books have to be bought. Somebody has to buy these books.
Well,
And then they reprint them every year. It'd be the same shit, and they have to buy them hoes again.
so I mean, is there a Democratic majority, or is it always conservatives that's trying to keep this stuff from happening in Texas? You
The
know, like
conservatives
let's
are the
say,
ones that's pushing the book bans. They're the ones who's making it happen.
okay, so they are the majority still in Texas.
Yeah, Texas is a red state. Now they've been talking about Texas turning blue for the longest, but the demographics have changed and continue to change. But the thing is, Texas has always been minority ruled, and it's just the way it's set up, the way they draw up the districts, and they drew the districts recently after the 2020 census came out, and they're even more fucking like precise, if you will, however you want to look at it. So the way they draw these districts up, they okay, packing. What they'll do is they'll put like all the people that like are, let's say, lower income or whatever, certain to lower class people. They'll put these people all in the same district because they figure they're going to, lean a certain way politically. And the people that's in these rural areas, they feel are gonna lean another way politically, and they'll draw the way they draw that shit is fucking crazy. But like I say, it's packed, so it'll be a whole bunch of people in this one district. Well, they have to do it by population, but they know what they're doing. They pack the same people into the district. Is the way they draw up the districts. So, that's why Sheila Jackson Lee has been a representative in Texas for so long, and she doesn't really have very much power.
No,
Is
she's
because
along with the game.
yeah, but I mean, she has her things where she wants to make change. She really, cares about some certain topics, but she's tied because of the way they do the districts. She only has so much power, and it's, really she should be more powerful than she is because of the people that's in her district. But the way they draw it up, it fucks that up. That makes any sense for y'all? Y'all look that up because I know I was bumbling all over that place with that shit.
Well,
Let me play this little clip of because this should be interesting.
You did not.
Oh no, you did not.
7-year-old woman, and I've been celibate for 2 years.
What?
I've been celibate for 2 years.
Where that come from?
I'm want to know, is that the reason why?
What's the philosophy here? You're not a virgin. You got two people came out of you. What's going on?
Oh no, you did not.
Oh no, you did not have the nerve to bring vagina out here and close it up at 37 years old with two kids out here. So you meet a man, a good guy. You think you're gonna be celibate for what? What? Till you married?
Yes.
You got your goddamn mind. I wish I would meet a 37-year-old with two kids and think you gonna shit. You're almost 40 years old with two kids talking about celibate. You need to be trying to get that shit away to secure a man.
I'm a 37-year-old woman.
Damn, bro, that nigga is harsh.
no, that nigga is real.
That was harsh, though. I ain't gonna say it wasn't true, but it was harsh.
Well, I mean, but
Damn.
some of these women, like, I mean, the ones that you see on these clips be the ones that's just like out there. Like some of these women really don't have, you know, they done listen to some pastor that's collecting money from them every week. That's, like, no girl, this, that, blah, blah. That's to keep her single, so she because she get a real man.
Keep
in her
coming
life.
in, yeah. Keep coming in and giving her money to Jesus. The only man you need, girl, is Jesus.
You know what I'm saying?
And I've heard this Sullivan story before, so that is very relevant. That's going on right now. And but a lot of times that don't necessarily mean they're celibate. They just mean they're not fucking you. But it's complicated. These chicks be out here screaming that celibate shit to test niggas. You know what I'm saying? To see how long they willing to,
Well, yeah, I know, and that's the thing. That's
play the game.
Well, a lot of guys is like, I mean, you have to be one desperate guy to be just like, really just hanging on for one chick you just met, and like you ain't developed no relationship, no feelings, no nothing, and you just gonna be like, oh, I just want a man, like, damn, I'm wondering how good it's, I mean, you could be fine as all outdoors, but ain't no sane dude, you know, gonna be sitting around waiting for no sex like that. You know what I'm saying? You in a relationship, you know what? I want to see what it do. I want to know what it all do. Want,
And there's like the no sex before marriage thing and not living together. One of the things I think that messes up a lot of relationships is not knowing that person like very well, and like when you haven't moved in together, because like if you haven't lived together, you don't know how they sleep, you don't know how they might have a weird thing where they clip their toenails in the middle of the night or something, and it really bothers you. You know what I'm saying? But you didn't know that about them because you didn't, you hadn't moved in with them, you didn't live with them, you didn't see them waking up in the morning. Maybe they snore in a way that bothers you or something. There's something, that little quirk that they have that you didn't see before you got married, and y'all got married, y'all moved in together. Now this thing really bothers you.
mm-hmm.
And it could be the smallest thing, but it doesn't matter. The littlest thing, if it bothers you, it fucking bothers you. It's a reality. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, I mean, shit. I mean, I would have to say my last relationship. There was a lot of little things that bothered me that, okay, I tried to work through, and like, I mean, we was actually like almost 2 years. That we was together, and it's like, because I mean, I'm on the road a lot, so we didn't see each other all the time or whatever, but still in all, it's just all right, and plus there's start things you just try to overlook for a while, and then it's like, all right, you know what, enough is enough. Mm. Wait a minute, what was it, $0 and
Yeah,
two
man. I,
million?
I hate the way they do these posts like this. It's try to make you feel some kind of way. This is Mentor Millionaire. I like this page a bit, but there's a lot of this on on the internet that makes people feel some kind of way, and I think that that's the point of these posts. So age 28, 1982, $0, what the fuck ever. Age 65, 2022, worth 200 million. He fucking had to give his ass away. He be busting ass though. I gotta give it to him. He works a lot. He got like 7 fucking shows on TV right now. If you want to be successful, you have to jump. There's no way around it. If you're safe, you never soar. But this nigga he's the house nigga in chief, bro. Like this nigga will suck white cock to make that 200 million, bro. He don't give a fuck, and
He's
I
pretty
don't
much
like that.
he's pretty much said it in different ways. You remember the episode of his show, his talk show, and he had Monique on there,
Yeah,
bro. Like he pretty much told people really who he was by trying to tell Monique how she's supposed to act, or
yeah.
how, you know what I'm
I know
saying? Like
exactly what clip you're talking about. Yes, because I saw that clip again recently.
yeah, it wasn't just a clip. That show,
I didn't
shit.
see the show. I
Yeah.
saw a clip from it, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, like house nigga like a motherfucker, bro. Like a lot of these niggas cashed in they ass and mouth to fucking make it, bro. And I'm not willing to do that shit. You know what I'm saying? Fuck
Oh no,
that.
I'm out. I'm out. Yeah,
That's like they were saying Tyler Perry and other people that
well,
was basically blackballing Monique were basically the same thing. Oprah, all of them.
but I kind of feel like that's one of the reasons why I didn't make it big in the entertainment field, because I mean when I was in my 20s, shit, I was an actor, a model, I did music, I did all these different things, and I was around different circles, Master P and them moved to Baton Rouge, and uh, you know had a lot of different artists that the artists that was on No Limit, I was around, um, you know had different access points, and
You could drop the
it just
kid.
it just didn't work, you know what I'm saying? And I think it was because of the things that some people might have to go through, and I guess God knew, or the universe knew that that wasn't for me.
Yeah. I think the universe, God does step in sometimes like that,
Yeah,
because when you living in your purpose, when you try to live in righteousness, when you try to live in the light, when you have direction, that's when God gonna move this stuff out of your way sometimes.
yeah. Because I mean, there's a lot of things you want for yourself, but God already knows your direction. So, you know, you pretty much are keeping yourself from where you really supposed to be going by doing all this other stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And you just be distraction. And then when they say everything is a distraction, I was talking about that before. I don't think you was on the show, but like, the thing, everything is a distraction. Like that's kind of like a woke saying, but it's true, but I don't think they really understand what they're saying when they say that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so like, moving in your light, moving in your purpose, moving with God, moving with nature, all of this shit is a distraction, like, from that.
Yep.
I was gonna say something. That nigga was harsh, and that damn celibate shit that these chicks be on, bro. That shit a piss a nigga off so fucking quick. You know what I'm saying?
No, I laugh, bro. Like, I mean, I never really had a chick, personally tell me, about the
Cause you
whole.
will hang around for a while. You will hang around for a while and respect that if it's true. But I think a lot of times they be lying, bro. That's the worst part of it.
Well, yeah, because I mean, that's the thing. Like, they end up, especially as they're getting older, if they really have a strong goal to get married, like it becomes some kind of a game of, okay, well, if I do this, then no, you need to let them know what their head do, what their mouth do, how you,
and
if you can.
and I swear I don't want to reveal too much, but like I have an ex that like, and then like one of the last times we had sex, she revealed like something, and I and we broke up later on, and then like, but it wasn't related to that, but and I asked her about it. She was like, "Well, you don't do everything before you get married, or you don't reveal all of that, or whatever." I'm thinking to myself, if you'd have been doing that shit, we might be still together.
Yeah.
Like they fucking themselves. Let me listen to this dude right here, right quick, because I'm a fan.
So I told somebody I had a special feature on my phone that if my heart rate go up by stress, it just hang up the phone. Now am I wrong? Because I really do got that feature. It's called hanging up. You feel me? So I told somebody I had a special feature on my phone
Do
that
y'all get it?
if my
Yeah.
heart rate go up by stress, it just hang
Yeah.
up the phone. Now am I wrong? Because I really do got that feature. It's called hanging up. You feel me?
Yeah. For real.
That nigga say no fucking gift.
I mostly get it when these people call them trying to sell me some shit that I don't want, some damn car warranty, some bullshit, but
You know what I hate? There's a motherfucker that call you and I ain't gonna lie, like straight up, I got a bill through Community Capital Bank. It was a medical bill, actually dental. I had a root canal done, and so I think I was like a couple of days late or something like that. Oh, that's what it was. Normally they take it out automatically, but I ended up having fraud alert on my debit card, so I had to get a new card. Totally forgot to notify them. So this chick called me. I answered the phone, and it just said no call ID. So I was like, all right, whatever. I answered because it kept calling. And she was like, hello, is this Daryl Willis? No, she didn't say, is this? She said, hello, Daryl Willis? And I'm like, And I literally said, like, who the fuck are you? This is a click. Like, don't call me Daryl Willis. Like, what the fuck? I hung up, and they sent me a damn email. Literally, they sent me an email, and that's when I, went ahead and set everything up again or whatever. But it was just the fact, like, you just call me like we on first name basis. Like, motherfucker, I don't know you.
Exactly. And that's the stuff that kills me. Like, I'm gonna tell you, like, these people getting like I mean, I respect their gangster, they trying to make sales and they getting creative, but and me, this type of salesperson, I'm just straight direct. This is whatever. But you cold calling somebody, and then I guess to get their attention, they make up like they making up the vehicle that they have no idea what you drive, but they made up a vehicle of what, so that you'll be like, no, I don't drive that. I drive with this, and say, oh well, well, let me look at it for, what I'm saying. They really like they're trying to open the door so they can go. I was like, bro, like y'all gotta do
I
better than
had
this.
I had a job before where I did cold calls. We were selling these credit card processing services and hardware. So, and just trying to get people to switch over their whatever service they have to ours. And man, that shit fucking sucked ass. And I feel for those people who have those jobs, I mean, they trying to make a living or whatever, but I felt some kind of way calling people. They give you a phone book. They're like, the guy gives you a speech. He's like, nobody's made it to Z yet in the phone book. You could just use the phone book. Like, ain't nobody made it to Z. So, you just cold call people. You try to call like businesses and try to get them to change over their credit card services. And
Shit,
you
you
become
never
like,
know. Shit, a person like me, I start at the back. I start at Z.
yeah. And you can make a lot of money doing this because you become the representative of that account.
Yeah, I mean,
So the money, whatever it makes every month, you getting a percentage of that for the lifetime of that account. So, and you can have so many accounts. So some people in there were making a really good amount of money, but that shit is not for me. Let me play this clip, y'all. Let's get serious. I was talking about the police. Let me play this clip. I don't know if y'all saw this. This guy had a box cutter. He had a box cutter, and it was all these cops. Who knows? I mean, I don't know the whole story. He had a box cutter. They ended up killing him. This is the video.
A box cutter.
Yeah. See the guy, he's standing in front, like in the middle of the freeway, like, and there's so many cops around. Like, he's a good, I don't know, 7, 8 feet away from the closest person.
15, 20 feet.
Free, my God. Oh my God. Right here.
You heard the 2 shotgun blasts at the end? Let's play this again. What the fuck was up with the shotgun blasts at the end? Did everybody have to unload?
That was well, I think that's a part of the protocol.
Another guy out of from the police even in the back. Oh shit. Right? Free.
Look at the guy right here. He run to get in place. He's like, oh no,
they about their business. They already know. Yeah, they's finna go down. They finna kill this dude. Like, this is it.
Wow.
You heard them late ass fucking shotgun blasts, bro? God damn, bro. The nigga had to, he was down and out. And then you gonna pop 2 shotgun blasts at the end. Everybody else was through firing. You was late. You was slow. You just had to you had to like fuck that. I'm pulling off too. Fuck that.
Oh wow.
What do y'all think about that?
Nice.
That's excessive, not the picture, the video. That's excessive force, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, from a civilian standpoint, but from the other side, that's, you know, protocol. I mean, I don't think it's right. I think, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm on the civilian side. Yeah, I mean, I mean, honestly, really, it only took one person to shoot him down, and everybody else could have just went home. But everybody wants a piece of the magic, I guess you want to say.
That was excessive force. The dude only had a box cutter. He couldn't injure nobody out there. Did no one have a taser? Did they have any other tactics to subdue this guy? He probably was having a mental health crisis.
Most likely,
And that might have been a suicide by cop. And that shit happens a lot. Like they just, they don't want to live no more, so they just fucking create a scenario for the cops to kill them. So the cops are obliged. They're like, okay, no problem. We'll take care of that for you.
Yeah, shit crazy, dude. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, so I don't know. This
Man, that type of shit making me angry. So that's why
I
I don't like watching it. Like I skip over over them videos like that. I skip over it because it's
yeah.
like I be angry as fuck.
Yeah, I definitely don't like the black when it's black people and they be showing up close and shit. No, I don't want to see the moment when somebody died and shit. I really avoid a lot of the gore shit too. But I think this is important subject, to talk about. And I also gotta talk about the flip side of people wilding out and they've been shooting cops. A lot of cops. Maybe that's what this is. What is this? See, thousands of offer police officers gathered in the street on Friday morning outside the funeral service for Officer Jason Rivera, who was shot and killed last week in Harlem. The service was held at St. Patrick Cathedral with solemn homily and moving reflections that recalled Officer Rivera's dreams of making a meaningful change in his community and on the force. It goes on. Let me read a little bit more. Commissioner Keechant Sewell described Officer Rivera's infectious spirit as deep influence on those around him. He has always been a city of lights, and police officer Jason Rivera was one of the brightest, she said. Jason rose to every challenge that crossed his path. Rivera was a 22-year-old newlywed who had just started the 32nd precinct in Harlem last year. He had become interested in joining the force as he noticed broader efforts in the department to improve relations in neighborhoods. He wrote in a letter to the commanding officer of the police academy while he was in training. Rivera was fatally shot along with another officer, Roberto Moro, while responding to a domestic disturbance call. That other guy died too. This story has been pretty big. They've been blowing this up. But yeah, so this is the flip side of it, right? So, we're talking about police violence, but then you got niggas popping cops. So, but the thing is, they're a gang. So that's what's fucked up. So you popping them niggas, it's a gang. So they looking at you as the other gang. So boom, you got a gang war going on.
yeah, and I think, I mean, but at the same time, I mean, the way it's being promoted on TV is also to, politicize to the reason for mil- mil- militari- militarizing the police force more. putting more money into, you know, the police forces.
Yeah. Yep. Because that's what they be saying. They keep on saying, they talk about the homicides, and then they talk about this, they talk about that, and they be like, okay, so look, well, y'all not giving us enough money. Y'all talk about defunding police. Do y'all want the streets to be chaos?
They're already chaos. What the hell you talking about?
Or do y'all want it to be worse chaos?
Hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's a fair argument. Even though I don't agree, I'm not on that side. I'm more of an anarchist, if you will, because I feel like people I think people can police themselves to a certain extent. I think at a certain point you do need a middleman, but I mean, the way our government is set up is like we're all just a bunch of babies and we can't even take care of ourselves. We need somebody to come take care of us.
Well, I mean, when they've set it up this way for, they deprive people of resources, because if most people had the things they need, whether it was from, housing, food, medical, whether it's, mental health or physical health. I mean, when you're deprived of those things within a society where, you know, shit, if I don't pay taxes, shit, my dad, my mom, and all my family them paid enough for me to still be able to go and get seen at the doctor, or when I really have some trouble, mental health wise, that I can still be seen by somebody, because I don't have a job because I got bad mental health. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't right upstairs, so that's why I'm, don't really, nobody won't really hire me, or I keep getting fired because, I don't have good mental health. Can somebody just help me get on the right track?
And I think a
But
lot of our problems are related to stuff like that. And because there's no money in taking care of the mental ill. You know what I mean? There's no money, there's no profit in that. Maybe there is, and somebody just hasn't come up with the proper model. But the way capitalism wants to look at it is that there's no money in that. You know what I mean? Put the money somewhere else, in investment, something you can flip. You can't flip helping people's mental health. But I argue all the time that we need to put money towards these are like education, mental health, infrastructure. You know what I'm saying? Programs to keep people from being homeless. We need to spend money on stuff like that because that helps the whole community. It helps us all out because when those people are doing better, that makes us live in a better community. And if you really want to look at crime, you have to look at poverty. You cannot look at crime without looking at poverty. And then when you look at poverty, now you got to look at structural fucking systems that create it. So they don't want to go down that road.
no, but I mean, they've been down that road because they knew what would cause it. Like they've already worked the equation out backwards. Like they've done everything they could to get it to where it is.
I can't fucking argue with that. And that's the reason why, but that's what I'm saying. That particular conversation we're having right now is not the one that they want to have. They always deflect it into another direction, saying it's this, that, racism, the border, the Mexicans, whatever the fuck, the Russians, China,
Hmm.
whatever the fuck, to not have this particular fucking conversation.
And our president is trying to somehow have some meaning of his presidency, because he knows this is the only term he's going to have. And
Well, this is his. You always have to make your impact in your first term because that's how it is. If you look at it historically, all of the policies have always been passed in the first term. So yeah, if he doesn't get anything done, he doesn't get anything done. And so far, he hasn't really gotten anything done. So what? He's going to go down in history as who?
because he's only focusing on one thing, I mean, nothing else really matters to him.
The
And
guy, the guy who was the president during the pandemic. That's not going to be a good look. I can't even think of nothing. What can be his legacy right now? Alone as a president, not as a congressman, not as a historical politician, as the president. What is his legacy?
For me, I would say his legacy is trying to overthrow the Constitution, like at every turn. Like he's trying to do everything. Like he is the president that blatantly, go, you know, and try to force, like use his powers to go against the Constitution.
I don't know if I would go that far.
Oh
That's what I'm
no.
sipping on. Yeah, about Biden. I don't know that I would go that far. I don't think he's like, see, this guy, I mean, like, not to say he's not smart. He's a smart, intelligent guy. But like a lot of times when I be talking to Jay Lethal, I'll be like, you be giving these folks way too much fucking credit. Way too much fucking credit, bro. Like, and that's what
So
I'm
you don't
saying.
think
You're giving.
so you don't think if he's bright, if you're gonna give him the credit of being bright,
Yeah, he's not an idiot.
uh, okay. So if with that being said, wouldn't you think that he would know that the things that he's trying to enforce are illegal?
Yes, he's aware it's
Or no,
illegal.
not illegal, but unlawful. Not illegal, but
unlawful. All of that. Yes, yes. They're all lawyers. They're all lawyers. Like, pick a politician that's not a lawyer. Somebody, please, come on, tell me. Come on, but say a name of a politician that don't have no fucking history of working in law in any kind of way. So yes, them niggas know the law like a motherfucker. So yes,
okay.
I agree with that. I can't argue with that. That
So
he
how can
knows
you?
things
So how
about
can you
that.
just? So how? I
But
mean,
as far
based
as
on
going
what
as
you
far as
know,
saying fighting against the Constitution, I don't know, because the thing is they all the Constitution is bendable, right? It's been getting bent ever since it was made.
um, well, the Constitution has not changed. Now there has been some amendments that add to or you know give more sight to you know what is a part of the Constitution, but it's really
This is a
it's really
this
not
is
bendable.
America. This is America. Rules are made to be broken here. Like that's what they do. It's made for criminals. It's a criminally made empire from the beginning. The
Yeah,
rules are for
but
everybody else. The rules are for the lameness, the regular folks. Everybody else are like, what the fuck, nigga? No, nigga, do that shit, nigga. Fuck that shit. I'll tell you a way to get around that shit or whatever the hell. And if you do have some problems, I got somebody to, let you know, get you out of that shit. This is how they talk.
he
We are the ones trying to follow these damn laws. They don't follow these laws. They don't even look at
he
it
try,
that way.
he tried to make an argument that the we the people of the Constitution stood for the people that was in that chamber that they were in, for the lawmakers. You know what I'm saying? Not us out here or all of us combined. No, he was trying to make an argument that we the people included just the people that he was talking to in that chamber. I see
And
that,
that's how they
and I
that's how they
and I
think.
know I know he knows better than that. But that's the
But
type of thing that he's trying to psychosis that he's trying to,
But I
you
don't think
know.
you understand the way the shit was drawn up from the beginning was they didn't care about the way our political structure is set up is for the masses. They were worried about like what would you call it, like a charismatic figure coming along and having a populace and gaining a lot of power and ruling the government
Well,
in that way. You know what I'm saying?
well,
So
first,
the way our government is set up is to keep from that happening. You know what
well,
I'm
first of
saying?
all,
So, but and another thing is they didn't really believe in democracy. That's why we don't really have a democracy. They felt like regular folks wasn't smart enough. It just needs to be the people that understands politics needs to be involved in politics. Landowning white men.
Well, let me just remind you of something, because I know you've read this somewhere, and you I'm sure you have good understanding of that, but they never wrote a constitution. They adopted
Yeah.
the constitution.
Yeah.
So they followed the blueprint that was already set forth, because there was already an existing government. They used the one that they had because they weren't really smart enough to put that that type of
And,
document together.
right. And then you had the Articles of Confederation and all of that before that. So so yeah, it was a process to get to the Constitution, and it was an adoption. A lot of it was from they were copying off of England too, with the Parliament and all of that, and wanted to make it like that but different. So, but yeah, I mean, and then like I know what you're talking about, the governments that were here already, the governments that, like I say, the ones that probably gave away America to these folks, they had government structures already, and that's what people don't want to acknowledge, because history doesn't acknowledge it. They say that it was a bunch of savages over here when Columbus landed.
Well, I mean, this day and age, any adult that believes that, I wouldn't be able to have a conversation with them, because I
You're
mean that would be,
not facing reality, buddy.
yeah. It's just like, all right, you one of them, okay. And we can talk about popcorn and the butter, how they fix the butter for the popcorn at the movie theater,
But
because
we can't talk about this
no.
because you obviously don't know or you don't want to acknowledge it,
Well, I mean, some people,
and
I
that's why
mean,
they're banning the books. It's all
but I mean,
connected.
there's no real training on for people to learn to think for themselves anymore. Like, it has to be innate in you for you to be that type of person these days. Like, it's not like, they really teach critical thinking
Right.
to the
It's
masses.
the school creates zombie robots, and they're really creating factory workers, and there's no factories no more. But you
Oh,
got
and,
the
see, that's the
ads.
thing, that they're not even trying to create those anymore, because they know the generation coming up, if everything that their plan that keeps growing and growing, that they're not going to need a work class anymore.
Yeah. So what motivates people, what animates people are the ads. So that's what I think. Like, okay, they're creating factory workers, even though there's no factories, but these ads are what triggers them, memes, whatever. It triggers them and activates them, and then they move around in a fashion that benefits the machine. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Well, somewhat. I mean, I feel you, but you know, I mean, I guess they have to keep the psychosis going as long as possible, so that there's, people innately, somehow feel that they're still relevant. But I mean, honestly, most of the jobs that they have, I mean, there's very few jobs that they can't get done without the robots already. Because I mean, shoot, they can do some coding on the computer. They don't need like actual physical robots to do a lot of these jobs. You know what I'm saying?
And we was talking about it before, and like they're gonna automate a lot of these cars. That's what's finna happen. They're finna roll out with these trucks. They're finna roll out with these trucks. So, but the thing is, they have to build infrastructure for this stuff. We need to have more smart roads and stuff like that, and it'll actually be a good thing. And like we was saying before, some people are gonna always want a person. You know what I mean? We're not
Yeah.
gonna want a robot to bring our stuff or whatever. Some of us are gonna be like, nah, we're not fucking with the robot. You know, the robot be fucking up or whatever. We much rather deal with a person. Like when I go through the line in HEB, I like to, go through the line where there's somebody's gonna be scanning my products and putting it in the bag for me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
damn, I'm already spending all this money. I don't want to be fucking scanning and putting the shit in the bags and organizing this shit. I mean, I will do it. I'm not like lazy. I'm just saying I'd rather deal with the person because the
Well,
damn thing be
but
beeping
I
and
mean,
shit.
giving jobs, helping with job security for somebody that will need it. Like
High school
you
students.
you actually are taking away two people's job when you go through the checkout line, a cashier and a bagger. Like
Yeah,
because I mean, you're up there begging, or what I'm saying, you
they
might
do a
have your
better
kid.
job. They do a better job than me. So
Yeah, because I mean, they understand what's really. I mean, I understand what's supposed to go in a bag with something else, or shouldn't go with another product. But at the same time, it's like I like the service that I come to any business for. You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly, and that's be the reason why you go to that business is because the service that they provide gives you a convenience or makes things easier, whatever the hell it is. Like you like it, like it has a benefit to you. It has a quality or whatever.
dude, when I go to Sprout, they I have a few bags. If I got one or two bags, they don't offer. But when I go and I'm racked up a few things, I got a few bags. They check me out, they bag my stuff, and then they ask me, "Would you like for me to bring this to your car for you?"
Yeah, service makes you will go come back to places. Let me play this Don Lemon video. Y'all check this out right quick.
About race on Joe Rogan's podcast, taking an uninformed turn. Guest on the show, psychologist and commentator Jordan Peterson, questioned the racial identity of prominent black professor Michael Eric Dyson. You may have seen Dyson on this program before, so take a listen to what happened on that podcast.
Depending on who you ask, either you're a voice of reason and rationality and personal responsibility, or you're a voice of intolerance and bigotry and anger and hateful
sexual oppression.
What did Michael
prejudice,
Eric Dyson call you? A mean angry
and
white man.
Mean, yeah, and a mean angry white man. Yeah,
hilarious.
Yeah.
You're not mean at all.
Yeah.
That's what's dumb about that statement. You're not mean at all.
I am white. Actually, that's a lie too. I'm kind of tan, and he was actually not black.
If you're tan,
he was
what
sort
the
of
am I? Because I'm darker than you.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, but neither of us are white.
Well, I'm Italian.
And he was brown, not black.
Well, isn't that weird?
Yeah, it's really
the
weird.
Black and white thing is so strange because
like
the shades are so
tan and brown.
There's such a spectrum of shades of people. Unless you're talking to someone who is like 100% African from the darkest place where they're not wearing any clothes all day and they've developed all that melanin to protect themselves from the sun. Even the term black is weird. And when you use it for people that are literally my color, it becomes very strange.
Okay. Michael Eric Dyson, professor of
Because Italians
African
were
American
black
Diaspora
people at one
Studies at Vanderbilt University, joins me now. He's the author of Entertaining Race, Performing Blackness in America. Hello, Professor. Thank you for joining us. So your name was dropped because here's why. Because you have previously debated Jordan Peterson.
Oh, they brought in one of their
Yeah,
top
and they mentioned it, right? You said you were, I don't know, something an angry white man or something like that, or mean, I forget. Let's go beyond these two guys. Talk about what's really happening here. Is it really that perplexing to people that Black America exists in all kinds of shades? That doesn't change the Black experience in America.
Not at all. Thank you for having me, Brother Don. You would hope they were joking, because if they weren't, this exposes the vast lethal ignorance at the heart of so much whiteness, whether intentional or not. We all know that Black is not a phenotypical reality. We're not talking about a genetic predisposition toward darker skin. We're speaking about an existential context. We're talking about a philosophical idea. We're speaking about rooted cultures in deep histories that have vast traditions that have generated complicated identities. And we know that Blackness, in terms of its identity, ranges from vanilla vitality to chocolate charm, and all ranges in between. So it's not about shade. It's not about a kind of inherited characteristic of race. Race is, as we've been
They're acting
arguing
like they
in
don't.
school, and I would advise Dr. Peterson and Brother Rogan to take a class.
Yeah.
When we talk about race as a social construct,
It's
what we're saying is it's
the
not about a biological determinism, it's about an inherited set of beliefs that depend upon a society to imbue it with meaning. And
that
therefore,
was
it's
important.
not simply about who you are, your skin color, your hair, your shade, and tone. Now, while they unsuccessfully challenged my blackness, they damn sure proved their whiteness. Indifferent to history, oblivious to truth, and indifferent to reality.
So just that it was kind of a weird thing to say, to refer to people as black. That's what he said. It's weird to refer to people as black unless they are from Africa, not wearing any clothes. There's a fundamental misunderstanding, you know, as you've been pointing out, of what it means to be black.
Absolutely. They're hearkening back to Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness. Brother Rogan is smarter than that. People who are in Africa who don't wear clothes, who have deeper melanin, was he speaking about thousands of years ago? Is he talking about today? When he refers to what it means to be African, when he refers to what it means to be black, are you that obtuse, indifferent to truth?
It's like the outrage, right? Oh my God. You know, this whole
No,
Joe
because
Rogan thing.
look, let me tell you, this right here is to real black people back in, or people in general, because it's not just hypnosis or psychosis for just black people, but you know, for the majority of people, because I mean, there's a lot of people that understand the true dynamics of what these color statuses really are, and then there's others who are oblivious and think it's all about, you know, well, you know, their bloodline is, you know, what make them black. So they're trying to reel this thing back in and give, you know, like a distorted view of what these people, what Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson were even saying. Because if the conversation gets deeper, it will totally unravel this whole thing, because the whole black thing is something that's sold, you know, to the
Yeah.
minds of the people.
Yeah.
It's, you know what I'm saying, like, you it's really disrespectful to even use it, you know, the term, those terms for human beings, because I mean, some people know it's a caste system. Some people, you know, never really gave a real deep thought about it. But because it's on such a popular show, and that's like, well, what do they mean? I mean, I don't get it. What is he saying? And you know what I'm
Right.
saying? If the conversation got deeper, the cat would come out of the bag. So they're just pretty much trying to, I guess, put
That's
a
what I
band-aid.
that's
Go
what I
ahead.
want to point out. It's like the outrage, the oh my gosh, you know, like they can't be so ignorant, you know, they can't possibly be this ignorant. Like, and then they went into a whole nother direction. Like, the guy was an academic. Some of the stuff he was saying, I agree with. It's just that they are sensationalizing this whole thing to make it into like a story, to make it into like, I don't know, like I say, like the whole reason why it went viral is because it's like people are like, oh my God, I can't believe he said that.
Well,
Clutch my pearls.
well, and I had a lot of respect for Michael. What's his the Dyson? What's his? I forget his name. Uh, was it Michael Eric Dyson or something? I forget.
The physicist, the black guy.
Well, both of them black, but the one on the right hand side, the guest,
Okay.
because I don't think he's a physicist. Like, he's pretty much supposed to be like a historian, you know, of civil
Yeah, I've seen him
rights.
around.
And
Yeah, I've
yeah,
seen
no,
him
he's
around.
he's been around for a while, and at one point, but I mean, at some point, you know, once you understand and like you understand certain things, and then you hear people who are supposed to be smarter than you, like these people who actually, they probably really are like, smarter. They know they have a lot more information in their brains than I do. But especially when you get to a doctorate level, there's things that you learn in school that, you know, that you should know these things, especially when I hear a lawyer or different people that's got a certain level of education. They know these things, but that's what lets you know that they're part of that whole scam. Like he's a white supremacist. Both of these guys, in my opinion, are white supremacists.
And Don Lemon, sometimes he does have good stuff, but yeah, I can't really argue with what you're saying. They fit the structure, like they hold up the structure.
They support the structure. They are the supporting cast, and because when anything tends to get out of line, I mean, they're in media. That's where the psychosis happens for the most part, is like through the media, and they pay these people millions of dollars a year to make sure that
The search is
when
on for the
when
next.
when the system is having a kink in it, is for them to get out there and make sure that they can kind of straighten things out and get people to be, maybe
Get
gain
back in
some
line.
outrage to distract them from what's really what the real conversation is.
Yep, just put your head down. Don't worry about it. We got you. That's them damn neoliberals.
Yeah.
Fucking. But so Biden, y'all know, one of the guys on the Supreme Court is about to retire. He's stepping down on his own. He's stepping down on his own. He's deciding to retire to give the Democrats a chance to fill and put a liberal justice in there. But he's a liberal
You don't
justice
say.
already. Yeah, he's already a liberal justice. So it'll just be replacing a liberal justice with another one. So the Supreme Court right now is like a 5-3. It's 5 conservative, three liberals.
Okay.
So, but this is going to give Biden an opportunity to
Get one of his guys in there, somebody.
and by you said guys, guess what it's going to be? He promised
a black woman.
Right. When he was running for office or some shit, he was talking about, I'm going to give us the first black woman Supreme Court justice or whatever. So this is the identity politics that the Democrats have a game that they're playing, and to not actually give you anything. It's like the whole thing with giving, like putting what's her name on the $20 bill, the girl, the chick from the Underground Railroad, right?
Well,
and giving
and
giving her
Harriet Tubman,
Harriet Tubman.
On the quarter they just put Maya Angelou.
So this is the identity politics to be like, okay, you guys,
and tokenism.
Chill out. We got you. See, look, you got Kamala Harris as a vice president. You got a Supreme Court justice. You got a black woman on the.
You got niggas on your money.
So calm down. It's all good. Things have changed. The conditions that you live in. Don't worry about all of that. It appears that things have changed, right? The appearance is different, right? The image is different, right? And then it has to do with this Me Too, this feminism wave that we have. That's related to the LGBTQ, Black Lives Matter, any damn organization that's on the left, basically.
Well, and it's all. I mean, it's everything you just said, but it's also like I mean, the people that they're really trying to get on their side are black women. You know what I'm saying? They know black women will come out and like, okay, because I mean that was one of the most. I mean, for me, like some of the one of the most ignorant moments to me was, some of the things that I've heard why they were voting now for Joe Biden because you know Black Girl Magic,
Right.
uh,
The
sister,
sorority.
my soror, yes, all of those things, and it's just like, okay, yeah, like there's some things that's more important than just having a face
What
that looks, because I
what
mean a lot of
what
these
about their
faces.
policy? What is their policy? Do you even know what their policy is? What are they planning to do when they get in there? What is
Do you
their,
even care? Because
platform?
because like I had people I went to high school with that I having conversation with on Facebook, and it's like, look, this person's record is horrible. Like, I mean, do you know what she's done to women and their kids in her home state? Like,
Yeah.
do you understand who this
I
person
didn't like
is?
Kamala Harris from the jump. And it's
But
like she was a
before,
district attorney. She locked niggas up for a living. Like,
but
come
no,
on.
but no, like and look, she had a chance. Like, person that she had, I know this was at least one instance where it may have been more, but this really got to me because it's like she had the proof that the person that was locked up had nothing to do with the crime that they were in for, and
I heard
she
about that.
hid it, and just, I mean, just to pretty much be able, like, to keep that warm body in prison
And,
to
and,
make
and
more
and
money
you see
for
how she's
California.
risen. Look at how she's risen. You know what you have to do. She's the model, okay? And that's another thing. Like, what's his name we were talking about earlier? The nigga that got all the TV shows and the big mustache, bald headed. I can't
Steve
think of his name.
Harvey.
Harvey. These dudes, him, Kamala Harris, they're the model. This is what you're supposed to do. You snake, sneaks, slither, suck dick, fuck, let your ass get fucked on your way to the top. So the thing is, she got numbers. She got numbers. She locked niggas up. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, we're gonna give you rewards for this. You get promotions for this. How many niggas did
Yeah,
you lock up this year?
yeah, but I mean, if you're rightfully doing it, like, if okay, there's people that deserve to be in prison or jail, or like whatever. They need to do their time. But when when you're an actor against justice, doing things like that, like, creating laws where, if your kids don't show up at school, now
Exactly.
the parents gotta show up
Exactly.
in
And
prison.
those were black and brown parents that she was on. And
Yes.
so the thing is, they don't care about justice, and that's what I was saying earlier. They don't care about justice. It's about the numbers. Run the numbers up. The numbers, the numbers, the numbers, the numbers. We make more money, you get promoted, you can become a politician, you can have a great career. Run the fucking numbers.
Yeah, because I mean they're looking at the fact they're going to get a bonus for, like district attorneys, like these people, they have a first hand, like, you know, like you can get put in prison quick and easy, and they have all these private prisons that they made a promise that there'll be a certain
Right.
amount of people
They and
in prison.
they need because they didn't it costs them money to build these prisons. It costs the money to maintain these prisons. If there's empty fucking cells, they are losing money and they're not in the business of losing money. Fucking and that's what I want to stress because I don't think a lot of people get it. Is like they don't care about the law. It's two different classes of people. You got the classes of people who follow the law, and then you have the class of people who do not follow the law. They don't want to pay their taxes. They don't want to do nothing. They do whatever the fuck they want. They don't
Yeah.
respect those laws. They understand this country was built by criminals. The laws are built. That's the reason why they don't want no criminal to get as big as them. They don't want, those laws are in place to keep from criminals to get cross over. And like I say, the main thing is to keep the classes where they are. Wherever you was born is where you're gonna be when you die. You was born in the upper class, you'll be in the upper class when you die. You born in the lower class, you're gonna be in the lower class when you die. And that's the way they want to keep it. Period.
Yeah. But I mean, you know, they're gonna. I mean, they can't stop God. That's, I mean, you know, they can, you know, maybe, you know, for as far as we see, you know, try to slow things down, you know, try to do everything they can to keep their agenda going. But man, like it's still just a matter of time. I mean, we do have to be more active than we've been, but we can't be just sitting ducks and, you know, just thinking that things are just gonna work themselves out.
Because they're not. And
No.
history tells you that that's not how it works. Pitchforks, you know what I'm saying, and niggas getting their head cut off usually is what
Yeah,
causes things
I
to
mean,
change.
and that's the thing. Like, there's more evil that's being practiced than there is, you know, justice or, you know, righteousness. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Because
they
even
are
when
working.
things, even when you look at history and things turn for the good, it usually some really fucking horrible ass shit happened. You know what I'm saying? Before that or whatever, like that led to that. Really horrible shit. Super
Yeah.
bad. It has to be really bad because that's the only thing that wakes people up and shake them up. Because that's another thing they do. They desensitize us to everything, so we don't care. We hear about people starving in Somalia all the time. We hear people starving in Ethiopia all the time. It's not a big deal. It happens every day. Whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But I say these are real people. The real people that were alive and are now dead, simply because they didn't have nothing to eat. In this present world, that should not happen anywhere on the planet. Let me play this video right here. Check this out. We already really talked about this, but this is what it was.
U.S. The next justice of the U.S. Supreme Court, but we already have a good sense of who the top contenders are.
CBS 17's Russ Bowen is joining us now. And Russ, is there any chance that Republicans will get behind any potential new nominees, whoever those candidates are?
Well, the short answer is maybe. It depends on a whole lot of things, though, even to just get a few of those Republican votes. President Biden has promised to nominate an African-American woman for the U.S. Supreme Court and plans to name that person by the end of February. This comes as Justice Stephen Breyer has announced his intention to retire at the end of the High Court's term.
Right now, there is something of a short list that is beginning to emerge, and people are starting to scrutinize the backgrounds of the candidates who are seen as most likely to be nominated by the president.
That short list includes federal appeals court judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, a Harvard Law School graduate and a former clerk for Breyer, California Supreme Court Justice Leandra Kruger, then California Attorney General Kamala Harris was on the committee that confirmed her, and Judge Michelle Childs, a Duke graduate who is supported by both Congressman Jim Clyburn and G.K. Butterfield.
I happen to be supportive of a Southern African-American judge named J. Michelle Childs. Judge Childs is from South Carolina. She's currently a federal judge, serves on the district court bench there in South Carolina.
CBS 17 colleague John Krusel is covering the nomination process for the online publication The Hill.
Likely they're going to be extremely vetted, and their judicial opinions are going to be poured over. Any law review articles that they may have written are going to be parsed, and everything in the background is going to be placed under a microscope.
With a 50-50 Senate, the vice president could be the tie-breaking vote on the final nominee, but Democrats hope to get some Republican votes. Some Senate Republicans say they'll keep an open mind up to a point.
And they're saying that's hardly a mandate to put somebody in here who's from the far, far left. Go with somebody who's clearly in the mainstream. I think Republicans are expecting it's going to be somebody who at least...
Yeah, what does that mean?
So some breaking news that's actually happening as that story was airing. We're just now getting word that Judge Childs, the judge from South Carolina, the one that Representative Butterfield from North Carolina supports, and Duke law grad, she was also nominated for the Court of Appeals in D.C., the Circuit Court of Appeals. Well, that Judiciary Committee hearing scheduled for Tuesday has now been delayed. So we can read into that what we want at this point.
So, but what's crazy?
Why don't the people get to choose who's judge?
But that's in the Constitution. You've been screaming the Constitution the longest. That comes from the Constitution.
Well, all right. Well, I mean that's fine, but at the same time, I mean, to me, I mean, I think that would be more fair. But I mean, yeah, it is in the Constitution. But I mean, how will we ever get somebody in there that will favor us? Because I mean, black skin don't necessarily mean,
Right. And also the thing is, what about like their policies? What we already said, we already had this conversation, but the whole time, what did they talk about? Harvard grad, she grew up in South Carolina, she's a Southern girl, da 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 da. What the fuck about their policies?
How about and she's a good nigga.
Yeah, so yeah, you got to get your pet. You got, if you get nominated by the president for a spot like that, nigga, you a pet, a lapdog. Because how else are they gonna pick you? Like they didn't pick you. There's so many people they could have picked. He could pick anyone.
Yeah, I mean, because if you get in it, like like okay, I made it, and here's my chance to look out for my people. I guess you are gonna become marked because it's like, look, I didn't put you in this position to be helping these peasants.
And then I study history, and so whenever they say the names of the Supreme Court justices, right after that they always say who nominated them. That's a part of like the historical record. Like it's related to like that's it's imprinted on them.
Yeah. Well, honestly, bro, I mean, I said it while, I say it from time to time, but I mean, it's going to get worse before it gets better. And, how much worse? That's the question.
That is the question. We got these evangelical right that's really kind of like doing what they want right now, and they are kind of running the show on the right side, and they're pushing for us to be like pilgrims or some shit, like the Amish or some shit. So that's an extreme position that a lot of people don't really want to live in. I don't think these people really live in reality, and they just want to control others. But this is the thing, though. With me studying history, the more I've looked at our government political history and looking at the Supreme Court is a pacifier. And I think it was created to be a pacifier. And it's also tend to have been conservative throughout its history. You know what I'm saying? We've never really had a liberal, if you will, for the sake of the term. I don't really like the term, but we've never really had a liberal Supreme Court ever.
Which is probably a good thing.
Well, I would say a lot of Americans would agree with you, and that's the reason why it has been that way, because they feel like the conservatives are the ones to bring balance. So they should be the ones in the majority in the Supreme Court, and we can let the radical lefts in, and they can have their word and push those conservatives a little bit to the left, and then that's more center where the United States is supposed to be, or whatever.
What do you usually, like just in common terms, what I know I grew up in the country, so maybe it's a term that I heard, but other than talking about politics, what do you hear liberal? Where do you hear the word liberal?
When you're putting a lot of something somewhere, like the farm, you like, or even in recipes, you hear it in recipes, and you hear it in like farming. In my mind, that's the first two places that I hear that word, having nothing to do with politics.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I've heard that. But what about liberally drunk?
I don't know that I've even heard that term before.
Well, I mean, it just means like you're excessive. Like you do too much.
Yeah. I mean, that would still make sense in the word, so I can't argue with that because liberal means to like be, spread it around.
I don't know so much about spread it around, but
That's the basic meaning of it because it's like I say in a recipe they'll say add, I don't know, add,
In the recipe, they say put a liberal amount.
yeah.
That don't necessarily mean that you spreading it around. Because if somebody tells me, hey man, you put a liberal amount of seasoning in that pot, I'ma just I'ma dump that. I mean, quite naturally, we know to sprinkle it around our food, but if you don't have that,
But it means as much as you want. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, liberally.
Well,
Like water the plants liberally.
yeah, well, we know we can't water the plants liberally because then they'll die.
you flood them, like you
Yeah.
drown them. Like I mean, bro. Like you know, I I wish our government was truly, full of conservative liberals, where that when you're dealing with certain situations, you realize that certain things you can take too far, and there's never a thing that you can kind of pull back on and say, hey, let's try to do this. Let's gradually work ourselves into this situation where it's just kind of like just bring it on in. Let's just do it. No, I mean,
But look, I agree with you because we talk about yin and yang and balance all the time. The perfect relationship is going to be between two people where one of them is more conservative and the other one is more liberal. That's going to be the perfect relationship. The person who's more spontaneous, who is more like, spur of the moment,
I had
the
a
person
good
who's more
idea. I got this great
artful.
idea.
Yeah.
You
But
know,
then you got the other person who's like, okay, well, let's think about this. Let's crunch the numbers. How
That's me.
how possibly can we make this happen? Is
That's
this
me in
is
my
this a
relationship.
is this a reality? Are we thinking in reality terms over here? Is this gonna be something that's gonna actually be a real thing? Yeah. So, but you need that, right? So, but then when y'all have that conversation, then when y'all land on something, it's gonna be in the middle because it's gonna be like, okay, well, let's try it out or whatever. But we're gonna be careful. We're gonna watch the numbers or whatever, and we're gonna give it 2 years or whatever the hell. You know what I'm saying?
well, look, and Doc here he says use generously, which is
Yeah.
a great way of saying it. But
For liberal.
but historically, who are they generous to?
They on. Not everyone.
I mean, it's so much waste that goes on that they can just blame it on, oh well, we couldn't foresee or this that and the other. But I listen to many other senators like, no, look, this is why we need to draw back. Yeah, we can do this whole infrastructure plan, but we need to take it step by step because of where we are fiscally and financially, and our workforce is here, and we're gonna tie up these dollars that we won't even be able to use because of the situation we're in. It's like I don't know, man. Honestly, I mean, I don't want to say that I wish it was all conservative because I mean, like I said, I'm a balanced type of guy, but usually our government usually works better when the majority is opposite. Like when you have the executive branch that's conservative, yes, you might be better off with a legislation branch that is more you know liberal. But when you have the opposite, when your executive branch is liberal, you should probably have your legislative that's gonna be more conservative. That
And
way,
I can't argue with that. I think that would be perfect. But we don't have that. The supreme law of the land is always the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court historically has leaned conservative always.
Well, like I don't know. I mean,
So
maybe for
they have
good
the last
reason.
say. Whatever laws come up, whatever legislation, the senators make legislation. They put it out there. It works in a state. Somebody, sues and sends it to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court says, "Nah, man, that shit not constitutional."
Well, look,
Throw
I'm
that
gonna
shit
tell
out.
you one thing that I can say about most, like a lot of conservatives, is that they will support either side based on the needs of the country, and that's down to the voter. Like that's to like the average you and me. Like if they lean more conservative, like when Obama came, there's like, you know what? I believe in this dude. Like conservatives came out and voted for Obama because of the change and all of the hope that people had for the country. And then, of course, he kind of let us down. So they're like, all right, you know what? Let's give this other guy a chance because I mean, he's, and that's how
I'm
we end
Jason
up.
Saminow with the Capital Weather Gang here with
My
a
bad,
briefing
y'all.
on
Sorry.
the blockbuster winter storm expected to move up.
Sorry, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, well, no, but they use because see, and one of the things that bother me so much about liberals is that in most cases they will never vote for a conservative if they're the right person for the job. If they're gonna
But
do
it's
what's
like that on the other side, and that's what I be talking about. These
no,
damn football teams, bro. Like I hate that shit. I hate it so much.
what you
I'm rooting for my team, and that's it. I don't care. You know what I'm saying?
but so even if that, you know what I'm saying, like I mean, football is a little bit different than politics. I mean, we can't use that example. That's
I love it. I think it's the best. It's and I've been into politics. I'm heavy into politics, bro. And the more I get into politics, the more it looks just like a sport. It's like a sports program, just like the NFL. It's
really
very similar. I'm
wow.
telling you. I'm
I
telling you.
mean, that's very interesting to me because I
Because
mean,
the people root for their team. They root for their team, the one that they've been raised, their parents. You know what I'm saying? You know how like a lot of these
I
people have
get it.
college.
I get it. I'm a Saints fan to my heart. I don't care who they playing. Yeah, that's who I'm rooting for. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, yeah, they're gonna probably get their ass handed to them. But I'm with my team. I get it. But at the same time, these are our lives. Football does not hold our lives. You know, like
but
in
people
imminent
don't
into imminent danger.
but
You know what I'm
people
saying?
don't think like that. People are
Exactly, and that's the
emotional,
problem.
irrational
That's the
creatures,
problem.
and we get emotionally activated. That's the reason why this damn identity politics works, especially for blacks and Hispanics with the freaking Kamala Harris and all of that bullshit.
No, it's not even
Cause
really Hispanics. Hispanics, I mean, no, I can't necessarily say that about Hispanics. Like they will switch sides when it's time to vote because they realize how important it is and what differences and changes. Like, what's your policies? Like they are into it. Like, okay, what you doing for me? Why should I vote for you?
I think
And
a
you know
lot
how
of them.
many Hispanics came out to vote that stood up for Trump and what he's doing, what he was trying to do down at the borders. There's so many of, bro. Like I'm tapped in with the Hispanics, and there was so many of them was like, bro, we had to spend the money, we had to do it the right way. Fuck that. Like we support Trump. Like fuck that. You know what I'm saying? Like so many of them was on the Trump train, bro. Don't get it twisted.
Well,
Like
Hispanics fall on both sides of the spectrum, but I think it was a lot of them who were thinking differently. But you're right. I can't argue with you. Doc says the number one duty of Supreme Court justice is to put their own personal right, left opinions aside and to support, defend, and maintain the Constitution. But they don't do that, Doc. Yes, but they don't do that.
Especially liberal. No, because I think anybody can be bought and paid for, and especially in politics. But at the same time, I mean, a lot of these people, when they have like,
They
especially
didn't
as a
already
judge.
signed up. Like we said, when you get picked, for a job like this, come on, man, you're a lap dog. They already didn't have meetings with you. Like
Well,
old girl, the one who is like the Handmaid's Tale chick, and they was asking her questions about abortion. How you gonna vote on abortion or whatever? You gonna strike down abortion? Da, 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 da. She was like, no, no, no. You know what I'm saying? I'm not with the patriarchy and all that bullshit or whatever. She's like, I'm a woman, but she played that identity politics bullshit. But she right with the patriarchy. Just because she's a woman don't mean she's not gonna uphold the patriarchy. And she totally with abortion. She was put in there for that.
well, see, and that's the thing. It's like there's a bunch of conservative women that would love to see a woman, hold the job, as president or even vice president, but they're like, oh no, these people are full of shit. No, there's no way they could, support somebody that, like there's certain morals that come into place first over, okay, I'm a woman, so I'm gonna vote for a woman. Like
Regardless of her policies could be to oppress women, but she's a woman, so I'm gonna vote for her.
And that's what a lot of liberals do. Like a lot of women, like I told them all the stuff that happened with what's her name, Kamala, and like they would try to make any argument to make it okay for them to, in their minds, they could feel good about still voting for this person. They can sit back and they're watching right now all the stuff, like she's hiding, like she don't come out for nothing, like all the things that she should have been, out doing that, shit. Even like Joe Biden got out and was doing all kinds of shit when he
Yeah, they've
was.
been tucking her away. They know nobody likes her. Like they should have been using her face. She's for photo ops. So if I was the guy,
she's a token.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's the same. We're saying the same thing. So if I was the person who was in charge of telling them how to do the thing, I would put her face out there all the time, like for whatever reason. Like some of the times when Biden needs to talk, just have her say those same words, just because of the image.
Both our president and vice president are horrible when it comes to press conferences because they cannot, like they get caught up in a lot. Like as long as they can do their dirt behind closed doors, they're good. But then when they gotta get to explaining,
yeah,
when they get to explaining,
that's how you know they know shit. They smart and they know what they're doing. Because neither Kamala Harris is not a dumbass. She didn't ride up in the by accident. She used her intellect to put herself in the position that she's in. I got to give her props for that. But at the same time, like I say, she's not a dumbass. So that's the reason why when they start, like you say, when they start asking them straight up questions, then they try to slither around that shit, and they having a hard time because they really just want to tell you what the fuck it is.
Yeah, I mean, because they true to their shit. Like the shit they try, they hardcore and they true to their shit, and they really want to be like, bitch, if you don't get out my face, because look,
nigga, I'm the vice president, nigga, VP, bitch.
You gonna do what I want anyway, because guess what? I got control over this, that, like I'm above you.
Yeah,
but
VP, bitch.
I don't need to give you no answers, or what I'm saying. Like
nothing.
That's
I'm VP, bitch.
Attitude.
That is it. That's totally it. It's a classist system, and you get into Congress. Congress is really an elite group. It's only 2 per state. There's not that many of them. They really are elite. And she's been in Congress. Anyways, let me read some comments. Doc says several times the justices that 45 put in office went against the right when it came to issues of constitutional law. I like one of the guys Trump put in. I can't think of his name right now, but I agree with you. He does kind of stand up for his principles on certain things. And he has been surprising with some of the stuff he said, and I'll be following that shit. But he's the only one. The other ones, no. I disagree.
Look, the guy that's stepping down, the reason why he's probably trying to retire is because he know that he will mess up his integrity, because the president, executive branch is looking at him as a Democrat, and he's looking at himself as a justice, and he wants to do what's right for the Constitution, and he knows that this it's gonna mess with him doing his job the way he knows how to do it. So he's gonna get the fuck out of there and let somebody else come in there that's willing to go do the bidding for, Democrats, regardless if they right or wrong.
Yeah. Not Kavanaugh. I'm thinking of the I drink beer guy. Not him and not the Handmaid's Tales chick. The other one, the one with the glasses, the nerdy looking guy. That's the one. I can't think of his name. He's the one that I kind of like. I think that he Kavanaugh, bruh. Anyways, Doc says that's exactly what 46 did. I have to have a black woman, no other qualifications needed. Doesn't matter. She called him a quote racist and probable rapist, unquote, just 2 months before. Yeah, bro.
But just think about this. Think about how many qualified white women, or better qualified white men, or black men, or what I'm saying, that could, be, the best for this job. But
But they on this identity shit, so she
yeah,
got to be a black woman.
that's what I'm saying. Like, instead of looking through all everybody that is qualified and can do, I expect them to go with somebody within their party, but at the same time, it's like, you know it's a lot of insanity that's going on that we just kind of just normalize, like it's no big deal. It's like, wait a minute, you can do that? You can just say you gonna shut out any and everybody else because you're just gonna specifically look at black women? I mean, it's just part, 101 of affirmative action. Look, I didn't just give you a nigga. Shit, I gave you a cute nigga. I gave you a female.
She is cute. She could get the dick. I ain't gonna lie.
Well, it was one of them was
and she's
extra
funny.
cute, but
she's funny. I'm talking about Kamala. Like, she's funny. But just she needs to do something else. She needs to be a comedian, not a politician. Doc says terrifying possibility. Biden nominates Kamala Harris for Supreme Court. They can't do that. Before a new VP is named, they remove Biden with 25th Amendment. Boom. Pelosi is now the president. There is a way that Pelosi could become president, but it would have to be Kamala getting sick or getting hurt or dying or something.
Well, because I mean,
some-
there was some talks of that possibility of her becoming, Supreme Court justice, because I mean, she's not a good vice president at all, and they were really they got her in because they knew that she would, whatever it is, that whatever bullshit that they with, she gonna go with it.
Yeah, I could see that, and because she is a total lapdog, but it would be disrespect to a lot of other people to put her on the Supreme Court, because she's not even a judge. She never was a judge. She was a district attorney.
Well, I mean, but she's been in law, so I mean, you don't have to.
You don't have to,
judge.
but they pretty much all of them have been judges. They pretty much, that's like what they do. They only put judges up there. Somebody who has been a judge for some years too.
And Biden would be the one to break that shit. Well, hey, is it illegal? Okay, well, let's do it. Man, that motherfucker, man, he irritates the hell out of me, man. But this has been bro. We just got through a year of this dude, and it feel like it should be time for him to go. Like, I feel like we should be in year
I ain't gonna
3
lie.
or year 4.
But you got to think about we're going through COVID too. COVID is making it time different.
Oh my God!
You can't just blame Biden for the whole thing, bro.
No, say, bro.
I feel you, but I'm just saying we're going through COVID too. So
yeah, but I mean, because I'm not blaming him for everything, but I'm blaming him for everything, and I just
let me read Doc's comment. He says She would have to resign to accept the position. She has more legal experience than half of the CNN shortlist. She's never been a judge. All of those ones that they named were had judges. I don't think I heard any names that weren't judges.
But that
Kamala was
don't
never a
matter. See,
judge.
but see, you trying to you going with the script. You think that the script can't be changed? Like
Yeah,
these people are like, what do they call it? This is improv. Like
I
they
feel you. But precedent is really a big deal when it comes to politics, bro. Like they really, really like look at it.
no,
Tradition and precedent.
bro, we got a different animal. Like you not. I mean, some days. Some days, bro, you not seeing the picture. You think that just because that how this is how things have always been and this is what they always do. This ain't a president that follow that do that. I mean, we thought we saw it all when Trump was in office,
Yeah. I ain't gonna
bro.
lie, he's been surprising me. He been surprising me. The suck has been surprising me. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I knew he was gonna suck, but the amount of suck is surprising. So like, yeah. So like, and also another thing that's surprising about the Biden presidency to me is how many of the Trump policies he kept going. And it's really weird how the Democratic Party is kind of like hush hush about these things. Like the I mean there's a list of them. There's a list of policies that were like, what do you call them, like presidential orders? I can't remember, like the temporary deals where the president has the executive order and he just boom make this
Yeah,
happen. And there's a number of those that Biden could have been like, nah, that's it, because it's an executive order. It could be ended, by the executive branch. So, but there's a number of those that Trump did that Biden is like, you know what? I kind of like that. Let's roll with that. And that is surprising to me because there's so many of them. Doc
bro.
says she would have to resign to accept. Oh, I already said that. All right, go ahead. My bad.
This is the scariest time. Like I've experienced. Well, I mean, other than 9/11.
Bush. I was going to say when the Jeb Bush, that thing was like, whoa to me. And then right after that, y'all have to remember, right after the election, Bush was not very popular. He had a very low approval rating. A lot of people felt like he was an illegitimate president. And they
Well,
were protesting. They were on the White House lawn. And then 9/11 happened. And then he had on those Air Force jackets. And he walked out on the freaking aircraft carrier. And he looked so good and presidential. And that's when people started loving him. And that's how he got his second term.
dude, Bush got a fucking shoe thrown at him.
But that wasn't in the U.S., though.
It don't matter. That's how much disrespect. Like that's how much respect they had for us when during that time. Like since it's been like pretty much downhill, and I don't think people really realize how downhill we was going with Obama's office because he was a damn good act. Like he kept that shit. Like
The Gilded Age.
Yeah.
We all got quiet. He lulled the left to sleep, somebody said. And I was like, whoa, that was perfect, because that's what he did. He lulled the left to sleep. And everybody was like, oh, everything is good. Everything is cool. Meanwhile, there was robbing everybody like a motherfucker.
Yeah, and when we were starting to see our biggest growth, like everybody's like upset with the dude because he's he's an asshole, but I mean he's actually doing shit to freaking build us back up. Like the policy to me means way more than
I ain't gonna lie. It's been the neoliberalism, and a lot of it has come from the Democrats. They have pushed a lot of this what is it? These prosperity measures, ostensibly NAFTA.
I feel like what got Trump out of there, bro, was the simple fact that they were able to put that racist shit on him so fucking hard, as he's a racist.
Yeah.
And that there lost him the presidency. You know.
But look, I'm gonna tell you the thing that with that whole thing, with the races, like they could sell the whole racist thing, but what makes one race better than another?
Stir fry shit or bake shit. Doc
Folks went
says
out
there
and
have been
black folks went out and
Or
drove.
shit stew. How about some shit stew?
They
You
went
want
out and
that
drove, bro, to
shit
vote for Biden
sandwich,
for somebody that's a true fucking racist, like true racist.
shit taco, shit burrito?
A shit casserole.
What you want? What you want? You can have any of that shit.
You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, and I mean, I can't necessarily say he was like a real, like he really was racist. There were some things that the media say, bro. The media distorts a lot of shit, and they can make you believe shit that's far from the truth. The fake news shit existed way before Trump came about and said it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doc
And
says
that Don Lemon motherfucker, man. But I think
Go
somebody
ahead.
that I would recommend people to pay attention to is fucking Judge Joe Brown. That dude
Yeah.
speaks some fucking
Yes.
truth, bro.
I'll be watching his videos. I watch some of his videos. Cause he old now, he don't give a fuck. And then he's smart as fuck. Like that nigga, his brain is so sharp to be old.
Yeah.
Damn.
But look, we just saw an example of how Don Lemon get on that bullshit. We just watched that with him with Eric Dyson Clay. I mean, whatever the dude name is, Eric Dyson something, whatever. Say, bro, we just saw how the media comes in and manipulates, tries to change everything up because I mean they know the masses. Like I mean, they know that there's certain people that know and understand, but as long as they got their biggest herd to kind of settle down,
Sensationalize them. Get them all like whatever. Trigger them. I swear. That's distraction. Take them off this topic. Oh, wait. Look over here. No, don't look over there.
yeah, like they totally distorted the like what they were saying, or even like really trying to have a true conversation about what it was that they heard. Like there was no guessing or like questions. It was more so steering the conversation to what they want people to believe.
They weren't having an honest conversation, really. Like if them same two dudes had the same conversation about that same topic and it wasn't on air, it would have sounded very different.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what I hate about him. But because Don Lemon is, I mean, he's like a gay black man, but he's a black man, and I hear him every now and.
I think he's from. Well, I know he's from Louisiana. I don't know if it's Baton Rouge or New Orleans. I think.
And I hear that black man come out of him every now and then. You know what I'm saying?
Well, in certain situations, but then that whole, because I mean, it's still for me. Like even when I hear like the Black Lives Matter thing, because like I said, I mean, I always support the people on the ground who's out there protesting this, that, and the other. But the ones that you see on TV. The ones that's that went and made the organization based on the meme or the that whole idea that just got stirred up through a protest after Trayvon Martin, like all those people, like the chick. I mean, I know y'all seen afterwards, like well maybe 2 years or so, 3 years later, but she's up there. She done got paid from the Black Lives Matter people millions of dollars.
What's her name? Who are you talking about?
She's one of the high rank. Excuse me. She was one of the high ranking people in Black Lives Matter, the Black Lives Matter organization.
Yeah.
Not the movement. She was inside the Black Lives Matter organization that.
And she got caught, like.
Well, yeah. I mean, because she once they paid, because she got upset that they, all the promises they made, because honestly, they probably were trying to be smart about not just dropping all this money in her account, because they knew she was going to do some stupid shit. She went and bought $2 million houses back to back.
Yeah.
You know what
I
I'm saying?
think I
And
did hear about that. Yes, the 2 houses. Yeah,
and
just
just
wilding
spending.
out, balling,
Yeah, and they know
balling.
that, like, that's the only place that she's supposed to be some middle class girl, but
Yeah,
you
where you get all
not
this money?
you know, and then
That's what always gets everybody caught. That's how they got the fucking. That's how they get mafia niggas. Let me read Doc's comment. There have been 42 Supreme Court justices without prior judicial experience before becoming justices. Now I didn't know that, but I'm willing to bet that's a low number compared to the overall number of justices that has been in there. Full lists include who put them on the bench here. He got a Doc, the guy who fact checks us all the time, gives us damn links.
I love it, bro. I love it.
Me too. I love it too. Patrice Coolers. That must have been who you was
Oh,
talking about.
he's probably, yeah. I think that's the who we talking about with Black Lives Matter. Yeah, like, I mean, she was not conspicuous at all. She didn't, just, like, she should have took some time. If she was really tactful, she should have took some time so she could be off the radar. But
But
no,
that just shows like what really happens. Like the majority of the politicians are smart enough to not go buy 2 houses in the same year. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't ready for what she was in. You know what I mean?
yeah,
That's how the game goes.
She couldn't ever do what Warren Buffett has done for the last 40, 50 years of living in the same house. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
the
know,
exact
maybe
same house, buy a new Cadillac like every 10, 15 years.
well,
That
you
nigga
see,
be
no,
wearing
he
Vans.
used to
That nigga be
love
wearing.
Lincolns, but because the Lincoln didn't have a big enough car that he liked, that's why he ended up with a Cadillac. I don't know what he gonna do the next time he buy a car.
That nigga be wearing off-brand shoes and t-shirts.
Bro, he say, bro, he gets fucking he probably still getting suits from what's what's the name of that damn outlet store where you go get your suits?
Oh, you talking about Suit Mart,
No,
K&G?
no, that's a nice. That's nicer than the place I'm thinking. Shit, he get fucking. Well, damn, I can't think of the name of the place.
He
The
may
ones
be
where
getting
you're gonna make a suit and you're gonna like it. Or how I go? That dude says you're gonna like the way you look. You're gonna like the way you look.
Yeah, K&G. I mean, it's not no real high brand. I mean, any one of us can afford one, but it's yeah, and he may go to K&G, but I'm just saying it was another store that we go to. It's kind of like an outlet, almost like type of store,
I'm willing
almost
to
like a
bet.
Marshalls or something, but it's not Marshalls, but it's something close to that. But
I'm willing to bet he get his suits from Joseph A. Banks, just considering the fact that he owns Joseph A. Banks. So
they probably give him to him for free. Yeah, he probably don't pay for it at all.
Yeah, he
Doc says, "I will support."
Star Furniture, the furniture chain that I used to work for.
Star Furniture.
No, go ahead, bro.
I was gonna read the comment. Let me read it right quick. I will
No, go
always
ahead.
support.
I didn't realize you. Yeah. Go ahead.
Doc says, "I will always support the cause of Black Lives Matter, but the organization is a complete scam when it comes to actually helping the Black community." Yeah, we completely agree with you there.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Deuce.
No. I was just mentioning that, like
You're breaking up.
I was comment towards what Pat was saying. The same house.
yeah, he must be on the move.
Yeah, he got to be rolling right now. You breaking up, bro. Can't hear you at all right now.
Yeah, it's on. Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm up here.
What you were saying?
No.
Wait,
It wasn't there.
You dropped.
It wasn't nothing there.
You on the road, right? You rolling, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably rolled through a bad reception area.
Yeah, it ain't nothing important, bro. I was just joking with what Pat was saying.
Well, I want to talk about the snowstorm, bro. It's a snowstorm coming again. Did y'all hear about it?
Oh yeah, I made sure I was going in the opposite direction this time.
Yeah. Let me
Cause
play
I
a bit of this.
Gang here with a briefing on the blockbuster winter storm expected to move up the East Coast Friday night into Saturday. We have winter weather alerts in effect for over 75 million people. We have blizzard warnings all the way from coastal Maryland and Delaware up the coast to Atlantic City and then into eastern Long Island, into Providence, Boston, eastern Maine. Some of those areas in eastern New England could see 2 feet of snow along with wind gusts over 50 miles per
2
hour,
fucking
whiteout
feet.
conditions, extremely heavy snowfall during the day on Saturday. Farther south, even places like Ocean City, Maryland, Atlantic City, they could see a foot of snow as well. New York City on the western edge of the heavy snow, maybe about 6 inches there, but it will be windy and they'll have some limited visibility, difficult conditions as well there on Saturday morning. Further north again in Boston, Providence, Portland, those are the areas which will be hardest hit with a serious blow of heavy snowfall and wind, also flooding along the coast as the storm pushes water inland, maybe a storm surge of up to 2 to 3 feet, causing some coastal flooding. Power outages also possible along the coast, along Cape Cod, eastern Massachusetts, maybe eastern Rhode Island as well, with those strong wind gusts. This storm will be rather fast moving, so we do expect it to move out of the region by sometime late Saturday night into Sunday morning. Now, if you're further inland in places like Washington and Baltimore, maybe just 2 or 3 inches there. Also places like Virginia Beach, Richmond. And then as you get farther west into interior New England, not as much snow there either, but still several inches in many locations. This could be a historic snowstorm in Boston with those amounts up to 2 feet, could rank in the top 5 of any snowstorm on record there. With the expected snowfall rates of 2, 3, 4 inches an hour in some areas, combined with those very strong winds and blizzard conditions, travel will be difficult or impossible. And officials are encouraging people to not travel unless it's an emergency. For the very latest on this snowstorm, you can stay tuned to the Capital Weather Gang at WashingtonPost.com/Capital Weather Gang. Follow.
Yeah, so
bro,
what y'all know about that?
well,
And
I don't know,
how does that
just
affect
based.
y'all?
Well, well, for me, I guess I'm worried about the people that live in that area because, I mean, from the reporting, if there's potential for flooding along with 2 feet of snow, like, bro, that's. I mean, shit. I hope you live upstairs. You know what I'm saying, like that. Mixing water and snow in, like you can't get any emergency services. Or possibly, potentially can't get any emergency services. But shoot, these people gonna be locked in their house. I mean, like, I don't know, bro. Like, the flooding part is what I guess bothers me of that being a
I didn't hear him say
possibility.
about flooding, but I know that those people be prepared for blizzards and stuff that live in those areas.
Yeah, I
But
mean, they probably had, maybe a couple of fights over some tuna, some loaf of bread and stuff, yesterday in the day. But as far as, I mean, just trying to make sure that they have enough food in the house to last through this surge.
right,
But
and
yeah,
enough like gas or whatever you need to for your heating, because a lot of people have their own like petroleum or whatever the hell they use, gas,
yeah,
natural gas, or even wood or coal or some shit.
yeah. So, I mean, the flooding is the part that I think is going to be, could really be the biggest problem, because if they got water just pushing in, I mean, if it's intruding people's homes and you're dealing with snow, like, you got nowhere to go. You know what I'm saying? Like, that could be a real problem.
So you're not gonna have to drive that way.
Oh no, I'm south. I'm in the south. I picked up a
What
load
about
and
you,
then
Deuce? Your people not gonna send you up in that shit either, huh?
he's out in the deep Oklahoma. He or
Nah, I'm in
Texas. He said the
Texas.
Panhandle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm in the Panhandle, but now see, Lindy have plants all over, so we have guys that cover that region up there. More than likely,
Okay.
they'll probably be shut down. But man, one of the I'm not saying all of the people up there, but one of the saving graces for a lot of the people that live in those coastal parts up there where it gets cold. A lot of them still they live in those
Damn.
I know.
old historic homes. So a lot of them where they have these big, huge fireplaces out in their backyard, and they throw firewood in there, and it keeps the water that runs through their piping hot to keep the house warm. It heats the floor and it radiates up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, that's good, but I mean, if you're looking at 2 feet of snow and potentially water coming in there, because I mean we know, shoot, the East Coast has been getting some crazy floods that you don't usually hear about. I mean, that coming in with a snowstorm, I mean, I'm sure, I mean, it's a tough deal to deal with even in the spring or summertime if you get a flood, but in the winter when it's freezing cold and like, I mean, you getting pushed out of your home, if you live anywhere
But
that's like below sea level or whatever.
wouldn't the water just freeze though? If it's a blizzard conditions and you have all this snow, wouldn't the
Well,
water just freeze?
well, the thing about it is like you're not necessarily in
Most of the shit
freezing.
is froze up there.
Yeah, you're not necessarily in freezing weather. Like it could be 38 degrees, 40 degrees for it to dump a bunch of snow on you. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be freezing. It just has to be, cold enough to, for it to formulate. Like it's different. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it could be below freezing, but it don't have to be. But either way, if once it come on land, yeah, and that would present another problem, especially even for the because if it is freezing and you get water coming in there, it's gonna be freezing the water. You can't come in and help, but it's not gonna just freeze automatically. Talking about moving water, you know what I'm saying? Like if that's the case, it would be frozen in the lake, like it wouldn't be able to move. But
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
But
I'm born and raised in Houston, Texas. So disclosure, I don't know shit about no snow.
I'm born and raised in Louisiana.
And the Lake Superior is like the ocean itself. Like it
Because it's
pushes
so fucking
ice
big.
and like literally it will push the ice. Yeah. Like it will
Yeah.
literally when they have those surges like that, that frozen ice, it'll push that ice inland. And I've seen videos of that shit when that ice starts coming off the lakes and the ocean. Like it literally is so powerful, bro. Like I've seen it just like move houses off of its foundation.
Yeah.
That shit is that strong. So I mean, it's definitely something. I hope they have some type of evacuation measures set in place for people, especially people that are in the coastal areas. That are, like I have a good friend of mine. We've worked together for several years for the same company. He actually lives up there in Maine, and so he lives in Maine, and that's one of the things. He was actually going home because he actually has a side hustle where he moves snow around. He's got those big trucks and shit. He goes up there and plows snow and de-ice roads and shit like that. So yeah, he was actually headed home earlier tonight to go get people to get prepared for that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just think about it. You didn't even hear it in the story. Just think about how many other people, whose head it might have just went straight over it. They didn't hear the possibility, and they're not prepared. They're just
Yeah, I
thinking like,
didn't
oh
hear him
shit.
say water too. I didn't hear that part. I really did not hear that.
Yeah, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like, I mean, so
Yeah, he said the possible storm surges could push water inland.
Yeah, I didn't hear that.
On the coastal, yeah.
And I watched this twice. I watched this before I put this on for y'all. I watched this earlier. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, yeah, man. You know, I pray that they because I mean, shoot, if it's like it was a couple of weeks ago, I mean, it won't be a whole lot to worry about. But this sounds way more definite. It wasn't like a, you know, because it was the last one was kind of weird, and instead of it making its full, you know, turn, it snowed up in Pennsylvania, but that's where the bulk of the snow was supposed to be, you know, pushing into, and it was like 3 to 4 inches, and most of the snow ended up being, you know, like I guess like North North Carolina, Virginia, you know, it it pretty much stopped. You know, it didn't get as thick as you passed, like going to Maryland, and uh, you know, you just got a little bit of the aftermath, like just a little, like not necessarily a flurry, because it's still snow. I was there, it still snowed pretty good, but it wasn't like you know, the 13 or 19 inches like they said. So I mean, hopefully it's not as bad as they're
And
expecting.
the Midwest
But
was the ones who caught it right in that storm because it rained like down southern. They caught a bunch of floods, right?
the what?
Didn't they get some floods as a result of that storm in like the Midwest areas?
Oh, I don't recall it. Like you talking about after that the
The
last snow
last
you talk.
winter storm, yeah. I could be tripping.
Not that I know of. I didn't hear anything about that, and like that's the areas where I was, you know, driving through. But I was a little further north. I guess it could have hit some places. Well, I don't know. I drove straight through Ohio, Indiana. Well, you know, I left from Minnesota, so Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio. I went through all of them. So, and I don't recall any weather.
You
You
know,
know, was
what's
that?
crazy, man? I say, you know what's crazy? 32 degrees up there hits different than what it hit down here in the south. 32 degrees in Chicago feel like fucking zero.
Cause
Like,
that
God
wind.
damn. Oh my God, bro. I used to, man, I'm telling you, dude, like when I hauled chemicals, that's where I lived in the winter months. Like literally from Milwaukee, straight on out to the Atlantic coast out there, up and down I-95, Rhode Island, all up through there, dude. Like I stayed up there, dog. The tip of Canada, Buffalo, like all up through there, delivering fruit
Well,
fuel additives. Don't get me wrong, they paid great, but man, I'm so happy I don't have to deal in that shit that much no more, bro. Like, oh my God.
but look, I'm gonna tell you, when I was leaving Tennessee, like yesterday and like this morning, mostly yesterday evening, like I think it dropped below that, but like let's say 46 degrees. Say, bro, 46 degrees yesterday felt like in Tennessee, bro. It felt like it was 28 or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know what was going on, but you know the wind was steady. You know it was constant, and bro, it felt super cold yesterday.
Tennessee is pretty flat, right? They don't have hardly no like hills or
Nah, you a
mountains.
lie.
Oh,
Tennessee got a
all
bunch
the
of
shit.
fucking mountains.
Oh, they
Yeah,
do?
yeah. It's not flat at all. Now
Okay.
you talk about Memphis, yeah, maybe it's a lot flatter, but shit, you get to Central and East Tennessee, shit, it ain't nothing but freaking steep hills and mountains.
Hmm. Shows what I
Yeah,
know.
yeah, like going up. What's that big ass mountain
Boy,
over there on I-24? The one on
oh,
I-24 over
well,
there.
it's the same mountain, Black Mountain. It's the same one you see on 40. It's on 24.
Uh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know all that.
The
That's why
You talking about the Appalachians?
Yeah, that motherfucker. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Let me change the subject, y'all, because I wanted to talk about the police a bit before we wrap it, and I gotta talk about that home demolition in Palestine. So there's an article on the Real News, and I'm just gonna read some of it so y'all can, and then we can talk about it. So it's like police say homicide detective Sean Suter committed suicide. So why doesn't anyone believe them? That's the name of the article. The circumstances surrounding the 2017 death of Baltimore detective Sean Suter were already suspicious. Then it was revealed that Suter died one day before he was supposed to testify in a police corruption investigation.
what?
I'm going to read a bit more. A recent HBO documentary entitled The Slow Hustle has brought renewed attention to the mysterious death of Baltimore homicide detective Sean Suter in 2017. Police initially claimed Suter was the victim of a lone assailant after his body was found in a West Baltimore alley with a gunshot wound to the head. But as details began to emerge regarding Suter's involvement with some of Baltimore's most corrupt cops, the case took a turn that raised serious questions about what actually happened and if his death was part of a broader cover up. Shortly after Suter died, Police Accountability Report host Tanya Graham and Stephen Janis produced a podcast series that looked behind the scenes and examined how Suter's death told a more complex story about police corruption in Baltimore. It says in part 3 of this podcast series, Graham and Janice explored the bombshell revelation that Suter's mysterious death occurred one day before he was supposed to testify in a major corruption investigation regarding Baltimore Police Department's infamous gun trace task force. A lot of them niggas went to jail too, because I was following that shit. Let me see. So they got a transcript here. I guess I can read a bit of this, but there's a lot here. Yeah, this is a lot. Well, anyways, what I said so far is pretty much the whole story.
I mean, this is very. I mean, we shoot. I'm wondering, did was Hillary involved in some of this? 'Cause it sounds like a Hillary job.
Well, it was these guys, and a lot of them went to jail. These guys, it was a sergeant. He was a whatever. He was high-ranking officer over this like gun task force, and then they were getting medals and all kinds of stuff because they were making all these arrests. But they were crooked as fuck, and you know what I'm saying, planting evidence. They was robbing people. They was like robbing drug dealers and planting evidence, robbing money, like robbing banks and shit. Like they wrote, I don't know if it was a bank. They robbed a place. I can't think of what it was. They have video footage of this shit. That's how gangster these niggas was. Like they really just didn't give a damn about the law at all. And like a good number of them went to jail. They got caught up with this shit. But when this guy got killed, it was before they got caught up. You know what I'm saying? They were still doing their thing. So he was probably another part of business, if that makes any sense. Like they felt like they was above the law. This nigga here was gonna snitch, and they was like, nah, it ain't no snitching over here. It ain't no snitching in this department. Nah, you either go with what we doing or die. But they got caught later. A lot of them went to jail. A good number of them went to jail. If y'all look up that story that I'm talking about. Because they did a whole investigation, and they had video footage. They had body cam footage of them doing all kinds of fucking shady ass shit. It got out to the public, so they had to arrest the niggas. It was like half the damn department went to jail. Y'all,
I'm sorry.
y'all there? Am I putting y'all
I'm
to sleep?
sorry. I missed the last part.
I was just saying a good number of that Baltimore Police Department went to jail
Well, yeah,
related to
but
that. Not related to this guy's
well,
death, but related to the criminal activities that they were doing at the time.
yeah, well,
But
and they're talking about Maryland. I mean, is this like near DC or is it like
it's Baltimore.
Baltimore?
Let,
Hmm.
let me read the comments right quick. Doc says, everyone learned during the beer virus you need 144 rolls of toilet paper to make it through any kind of lockdown. And he says, sounds like he got Hillaried.
Yeah, exactly.
He thought he was in season 3 of The Wire. Turns out he was in season 1 of The Shield.
Damn.
It's a
Yep.
serious topic, though. I
No,
mean,
yeah, I mean, we're making light of it, but it's I still, it's so crazy. Like, I mean, it's so evident. I mean, come on, man. Like, it's, and I remember, kind of remember when that stuff was happening, but, and I said then, I said, ooh, I didn't say he got Hillary, but I was like, yeah, they say, bro, them people ain't gonna play like when all these people's lives. I mean, it's a game. I mean, you say it all the time. They are a game, and shoot, they gonna come through for their brothers. You know what I'm saying? Somebody gonna come. Figure out something because I mean they probably was tied into it too. But
so the other thing that's in the title is the Ukraine thing. So y'all heard anything about that? Like, we really are in a dangerous time when it comes to that because this thing is pretty. Like I was saying in the other video, we could literally stumble into a war. It has happened before. Nobody really wants it, but it still could happen.
the way I see it, it's a matter of time.
It's scary because that's what I think too. I think that's the direction that we're heading in. It's like the dominoes have already started falling. Like nobody can even stop it. That's fucking scary. And a lot of people are talking about enlisting in the army and they're getting their college or they're getting their paid wages and they're getting all this and that and it's cool because none of them want to fight. They're just trying to get the benefits of being in the army. But if we fall into a full scale war, because we haven't really had one in a while, and like the Afghanistan war was not a full scale war. You know what I'm saying? If somehow we ended up in a fucking something with Russia, that would be a full scale war. And that would mean that all hands on deck. That means that you niggas that signed up to be translators, you know what I'm saying? You niggas that just wanted to, even you niggas that just want to be recruiters or whatever the fuck, nigga, they gonna give your ass a fucking weapon and tell your ass to cover fire.
Yep. And man, this is, bro, this is horrible, bro. There's no way we should be involved in that. And like how who wins?
And the American people, this is my argument. Like the Congress quickly threw together, I don't know how much it was, like $1 billion for fucking a weapons package to Ukraine. They just pulled it out of their ass. And then it's like, what about the American people? And why do we really care about what the fuck is happening on the border of Ukraine and Russia? You know? What the fuck? Do we really fucking care? Do we really give a fuck about that? I mean, really,
No,
truthfully, honestly.
no.
You know,
Well, not.
I
I
love
mean,
all people. I love all people. No disrespect to the people in Ukraine. I'm just speaking frankly as an American, United States citizen. Most people over here really don't give a fuck.
well, there has to be some benefit for the high ups.
Exactly. They're making money. That $1 billion that they sent to Ukraine, what do we say all the time? Where does the money usually go? Private fucking contractors. Where do you think most of that money went to? Private contractors. It probably went to a bunch of fucking US fucking companies. Like literally government money check, and the check cashed at Raytheon.
Yep.
PBS NewsHour should be pretty good. Let's play a little bit of this. Because I want to play a bit about the Ukraine shit. I want to put y'all to sleep. But let's listen to a little bit of PBS talking about this Ukraine.
Hey, Chaka, you still got your soldieries you used to wear back in the day, them old lug boots and shit you used to wear?
Nah, I don't really.
You better get ready to put them motherfuckers on, goddamn.
I know. I love boots, but I
I'm
don't
going
really.
square toe on their ass.
I don't really
want
wear
you to get
boots.
a square deal when I kick you in the ass.
I don't really wear boots that much no more, but I still love boots though. Yeah, man, and I'll be singing that shit in my songs too. You know, it's like strap on the black boots. I never was in the military, but my dad and my brother was, so I was really close to the military. You know, and I got some military ways because of my dad and me growing up with him and the way he made me clean and stuff. So some of the ways, you know, how like making up the bed and all that kind of stuff, strapping your laces too, the way you type your shoes, all that kind of shit. I got some military shit. And the whole thing with the boots, like, yeah, man, the boots is when it's time for business. The niggas in New York put on Timberlands. It's business time.
I thought niggas in Texas put on cowboy boots, get them some gators.
Yep, that is it. It's time for business. It's business time. When they put on the gators. Yep, it's business time. Let's go. Strap up. You know what I'm saying? Suited and booted. Let's go. Let me play some of this.
We'll be heading to Eastern Europe and NATO countries amid heightened tensions between Russia and Ukraine. He was asked by a reporter about any U.S. troop movements this evening.
Have you decided how soon you would be moving U.S. troops to Eastern Europe?
I'll be moving U.S. troops to Eastern Europe and the NATO countries in the near term.
Earlier today, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky downplayed fears of an imminent war between Ukraine and Russia, urging the West not to panic over the escalating situation at the border. Meanwhile, Russia's foreign minister, Sergei Lavrov, said that Moscow doesn't want a war. But he also warned the West not to trample on his country's
The way he said,
the U.S. delivered its response to Russia on the Ukraine crisis.
We got the answers only the day before yesterday. They are written in Western style and make things as clear as mud in many aspects. But as I have said before, there are some rational kernels in there regarding peripheral issues.
Russia's President Vladimir Putin also spoke with French President Emmanuel Macron today and voiced his frustrations over his country's unmet demands. Nick Schifrin is here following all of these developments. So, hello, Nick. What President Biden had to say a few minutes ago caught our attention. Tell us what's behind.
Are you on the ground in Ukraine? Have you ever even been to Ukraine?
8,500
Who the fuck
troops
are
on
you?
heightened alert. Prepare to deploy orders. That's what the
Foreign
Pentagon
Affairs
calls it.
correspondent.
And the reason it's done that is it's
fuck outta
concerned
here.
not only about war in Ukraine, about war in Ukraine spreading into Eastern Europe. And so it wants to reassure Eastern flank allies. It wants to reassure NATO. Part of that is giving U.S. troops over to NATO command to reinforce that eastern flank along the Russian border. And at the same time, NATO countries are trying to do the same, reinforce with French, with Dutch jets, with soldiers moving to Eastern Europe to really try and make the message to Putin clear that regardless of what happens in Ukraine, we are, we being the West, we being NATO, are able to deter you, are able to send you a message about how strong we feel about the number of troops that need to be in Eastern Europe and our commitment to defend our NATO allies.
We could tell what side
Nick,
he's
we
on.
reported what the Ukrainian president is saying, telling the West not to panic. But the Pentagon had something to say today. Tell us about that.
Yeah, what's interesting here is the Pentagon, the U.S. and Kyiv really aren't on the same page when it comes to the threat. You know, from the U.S. perspective, they see Russian troops, they see Russian material rushing to the Ukrainian border every day. These videos released by the Russian military of defense every day. And what the U.S. sees is a more serious and imminent threat than Europe has seen in decades. As we heard today from the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, Mark Milley, in a joint Pentagon press conference with the Secretary of Defense, Lloyd Austin.
Sure, with 100,000 troops, and you've got combined arms formations, ground maneuver, artillery, rockets, you got air, and all the other piece parts that go with it. There's a potential that they could launch on very, very little warning. That's possible. This is larger in scale and scope and the massing of forces than anything we have seen in recent memory, and I think you'd have to go back quite a while into the Cold War days to see something of this magnitude.
Masking
and just before
of
that, we heard Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky say that.
So what do y'all? Go ahead, y'all. Comments. Let me see. Doc says.
What?
Go ahead. I can't hear you.
The U.S. and Russia. For me.
You're breaking up. You're breaking up. We can't hear you right now. You're still breaking up.
Okay.
There you go. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
What you was? Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. Nothing is different, but I don't understand what the masking of forces is. It, you know. That's confusing to me, but however, this I lost my thought. You know, from you go ahead because you was about to read the comments.
The comments. Well, they're talking about massing of forces means like putting groups of troops and having them at the ready. Doc says the U.S.-Russia thing won't go to a real fight. The fight won't be worth the win. China, though, they have the tech and they have the manpower to support a land invasion and occupation. So who's to say China won't jump in this, bruh? And he says,
they will.
Hey, that clip was PBS NewsHour. They still exist. We didn't say PBS didn't exist. We said that they no longer are really funded by the people. Therefore, the message is not as good. A perfect example is this fucking douchebag right there that's on the screen right now. Who the fuck is he? Why the fuck we can't get no on the ground stuff from what somebody over there in Ukraine to talk to us and tell us what the fuck is going on? How the hell does this guy really know what the fuck? Who the fuck are you, guy? You're the expert?
Well, whatever his position is, because he was talking to some you know, I watched the Forbes on YouTube, and it was something that he was explaining or trying to explain about this whole Russia-Ukraine thing, and you could tell he's just, I mean, you know, they all are just fluffers.
Yeah,
you know,
he's a talking head. He read an article. He probably read an article from somebody that was on the ground, or maybe some, you know, FBI papers or something like that. And that's where he got all his information from. Like, this is going to be biased, you know, and he's already, his job is to come from the, you know, Western point of view, United States point of view, UN point of view, and to guide the public into thinking in a certain way.
Well, I don't know. I guess I'm just at a point where this is just so become so normal. Like, what else do we expect? But you know, a lot of this stuff is still like, my main argument is just like, what's the whole point in all of this? Because
yeah,
Ukraine and Russia is so minor, but because Russia's a part of it, like, I don't know. I'm trying. I guess trying to figure out a conspiracy theory.
Well, we talked about it in the other show because He's an oil baron too, and you got pipelines and shit going on. So that's part of what's happening. You know, money and also weapon sales. So
But
behind the
does any of
politics,
this? But if Russia and China, you know, if it comes to it and there's a real war, Russia and China actually, you know, team up and you know fight against these, you know, massed forces. What dynamics could it have on us here in the whole fallout?
nigga, you would be a genius to figure that shit the fuck out. Because niggas didn't know what the fucking shit was gonna look like after World War II. That was a whole new thing. And the way everything emerged after World War II, they didn't know how that shit was gonna look. Nobody could have predicted it. So, and this is the same. There ain't nobody on the planet can tell you that, can answer that question you just asked.
Yeah, because none of it really makes sense. I mean, to me, it looks like okay, Ukraine is upset that Putin decided not to use their land to complete his pipeline. He's like, all right, y'all with that bullshit. He went around them.
Yeah. And that's the thing.
So
He's playing chess, and China is playing chess, and that's the same reason why I say, who's to say what the fuck will happen? This Ukraine thing could blow the fuck up. Who to know? Because the whole tech thing, we mentioned the pipelines, and we mentioned the arms. So the other part is tech, and China is the one who's running the show on that shit. So the thing is, that's another war that's kind of going on, a cold war, if you will. So, but like I say, who's to say where China is gonna? You really can't predict it or whatever. And then if they did decide to go, if they team up with Russia, you know, it's a wrap, bro. It's a wrap. What fucking chance do we have to win that fight?
well, I don't know. Shit, we got a lot of money in defense. Shit, hopefully they know how to
They
use that
got
shit.
Yeah, hopefully they do, and hopefully they got some really smart people to fucking guide all that shit. Maybe they got some robots, some Terminator 2 robots, because their ass is fucking gonna be grass. Because think about the numbers alone. And we go back to World War II again. Who really won World War II? Russia. Why? Because they have fucking people. A whole bunch of fucking soldiers. And they have a bunch today. And guess who else has a bunch of fucking soldiers? China. Nigga, they got unlimited fucking, and they have the way their shit is set up. Any citizen or whatever, they could be like, bruh, you gone. You gotta go.
Yeah.
You've been what do you call it? Ignited or activated. You've been activated, nigga. Here's a gun and some boots.
Hey, look, you remember a couple of months back we was laughing about that commercial, the Russian army and then the U.S. Army when they had the.
That video got a lot of views on Facebook too.
They see us as straight bitches, especially with this dude in office. Like we still had some respect.
And all this LGBTQ stuff and all of this left Me Too stuff. All of it makes us look soft as fuck. You know, I think I'm not a Trump fan, but I think that on the world stage, he was more respectable. You know what I'm saying? Like they even though like he was kind of irrational, but that also what gave him this mystique that was like a fear thing that was respectable. You know what I'm saying? Not going with the curb, not going with the wave, not riding the train.
Well, look, say, bro,
pushing against the
North Korea stopped with the fucking shooting rockets and shit when Trump was in office. When he went over to Korea, talked with Kim Jong-un, or however you pronounce it,
That's right.
He cut that shit out. Like you know, even with the Rocket Man comments and stuff, he respected Trump because they knew when Trump said like they knew he was serious, and maybe he didn't go over there with that type of bullshit. Like he was actually trying to like soften things and like actually develop a relationship with these people
And
because like a lot
that's
of
what I was
these
about to
things,
say.
a lot of things that you know you know I'm saying that I'm gonna say the Democrats they have been holding on to.
Disrespectful.
They're disrespectful, but like they've been harboring hate from decades
Yeah.
ago. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Previous things that happened. And,
yeah,
and so I think like what you're saying is true. Is like I think that he approached the North Korea Kim Jong Un in a respectful manner, and that was the reason why because that's the thing. Like let's talk about Iran.
yeah. Cause
The
do you
and
really think Kim? Well, no, I
go
just
ahead.
this stuff. I mean, do you really think Kim Jong Un, like with all of the threats that Obama was making, and him still like fuck you and shooting them damn rockets off? You know what could Trump have said worse than what Obama was saying to make him be like, all right, like to really bring that shit to a halt? He
Because
had
he
to have had.
respect. He approached them in a respectful manner. That's the reason why. And but again, what I want to say about Iran is the nuclear weapons and what was it? Gaddafi, which Libya, United States told Libya, okay, hey, y'all stop we're gonna make a treaty with y'all. Stop making nuclear weapons or whatever. And then after they stopped making nuclear weapons, they went over there and assassinated their president and disrupted their whole fucking country. Iran, they tried to do the same thing with Iran, but Iran was like, we saw what y'all did in Libya. We not gonna be another Libya. We
Not
keeping our
falling for the
nuclear weapons.
not
And that's the
falling for the
reason.
banana in the tailpipe.
And that's the same thing with North Korea, because Kim Jong Un is the same way. He's like, the only thing y'all respect is these nuclear weapons. That's the only reason why y'all haven't came over here and trying to fuck our shit up. We want to live how we want to live or whatever. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have these nuclear weapons so y'all can fucking respect us. So Trump comes at him in a respectable manner, respects him as like a man or whatever, and then Kim Jong Un is feeling that. He's like, okay, yeah, shit, y'all be respectful towards me, and I'll be respectful towards y'all. The reason why they do those big army, what do you call them when they do the practice deals, when they set off bombs or whatever, missiles practices and shit, the United States does the same shit. Yeah, Russia does the same shit. China does. They all the
What?
big players do the same shit. But it's a show of strength. It's a show of what I can do. It's like, nigga, shit.
Hmm.
I got some shit over here that'll fuck your shit up. So don't fucking come over here with no bullshit.
But but I mean, the bigger part of it to me is when you have two sovereign countries, one can't just take the stance that they're the boss and now you sit your ass down and do what I say. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't just act like or you the authority wherever you go, because these like some people may feel like, okay, you know what, I'm probably gonna lose, but guess what, I'm gonna take out as many of you motherfuckers as I can
Exactly. And that's
before
how
I
you
go to.
respect. That's how you respect. That's how you gain respect, because they're gonna be like, "But damn, this nigga gangster. He like, you can assassinate me. That's fine, but I'm fucking finna cause you some pain. I'm gonna hurt you. I'm finna hurt you. Take me out. I'm gonna hurt you.
Yeah, just know you come fucking with me, you definitely gonna feel the wrath of my fire.
I'm gonna hurt you, even if it's just a little bit. I'm gonna get you. So if you're willing to, take that collateral damage, then come on."
We've
Doc
been waiting
says
for
he waiting for years.
you know
Doc says he writes the articles talking about the guy. He's the guy that did the week-long PBS special Inside Putin's Russia and NATO and Ukraine fault lines. All propaganda. All he probably didn't know what the hell he was talking about. All he probably never even been to Ukraine. Republicans and anti-communism Democrats are anti-Russia. There is a difference. Let me read that again. Republicans are anti-communism. Democrats are anti-Russia. There's a difference. Okay. That's interesting because I'm thinking about McCarthyism. But with McCarthyism, they was talking about communism. So there's definitely still a tie there between the anti-communism and the anti-Russia. There's definitely a tie with the communism is definitely a tie there. I would say there's a relation.
But the thing about it is, are they truly communists?
Yeah, so that's just a bad word, you know. That's just a bad word to call somebody. You know what I'm saying? It's like nigga or something like that. Like a concept you don't even really understand that you just like it's derogatory automatically, and you don't even know what it is.
Well,
And
they made it derogatory, like, you know, in the full sense, we don't know truly by us never really going to a communist country. We're not gonna really know what it's really like. So I mean, by our media feeding us,
right,
you know, their idea, or at least the idea in which they want us to receive.
right.
That's what we're gonna. That's
And
how we're gonna see it.
all countries, all governments, all like states or whatever you want to call them, they're all experiments, and they're all mixtures of these concepts that we use of conservative or liberal or communist or capitalistic. All of these countries, none of them are solely one or the other. Just like I be saying about people, none of us fit in these boxes of libertarian or liberal or conservative. None of us fit neatly in those boxes. No one does. We all overlap those boxes.
Chris Rock say, no just person, no real person is one thing. And that's, you know, he was speaking mostly of Republican and liberal, you know, or, you know, conservative or liberal or whatever. Nobody is just one thing. You know, you're gonna, you know, of course he was making a joke out of it, but it's still real that anybody that's just hardcore, just one thing is insane.
Exactly. They've been misled. They're they're twisted mentally, and they're not aware of themselves because you're gonna have a bit of. You could be the hardcorest conservative person on the planet, but you're gonna have some liberal tendencies, and they're gonna be like very stark.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm not really for, you know, for like welfare and food stamps and this, that, and the other, but because I know people who have benefited from it, I'm like, okay, I mean, I can kind of see, you know what I'm saying? Because like for myself, I would do my best to never, you know, end up in that situation. But at the same time, I can see where, you know, at least for temporary purposes, how it can help people. So, I mean, as far as, you know, welfare is more of a liberal thing. I'm, you know, finding out much more every
We
day how
begin today.
conservative I really am. But I still do have, you know, consideration for others and how they fit, because it ain't all about me, you know. And that's not something that I'm willing to forget. You know, it's not about me. It's about everybody in the whole. So I gotta have some kind of, you know, leniency on some of my views because, you know, yeah, certain things will help me out more, like lower taxes. This, you know, like yeah, I get, but when it comes down to aid, I'm like, man, fuck that. On one part of me, but at the same, I said, well, you know, all right, do what y'all got to do to help these people. But I still, I mean, We're living
But
a Ponzi scheme, like we talked about last night. Like this whole idea, like everything that we think of, what the product of United States really is, what as a service to humanity
mo-
or
money
to the
laundering,
citizen, yeah, to the citizens, like
human trafficking. uh, I wanted to say though, your argument right now is all on the economic side,
well,
and the cultural side is important when we talk about liberal and conservative, because that's the part where I think a lot of people get lost. Because, like, let's talk about we was talking about abortion, right? So, like,
But I'm loving
against
this
it.
shit where y'all going and how y'all talking because I'm starting to get a better understanding of a lot of things that y'all. That's why I'm just being quiet. But
okay,
just understanding that like where he's coming from, and I don't know if this truly relates, but that's why like for me I have to like not on some bragging shit or simp shit, but like I have to tip my hat off to my wife. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of times where we were in a situation where things were rough, and people, peers around her would tell her, "Hey man, why don't you just go down there and go try to get some benefits and this and this and that?" Basically kind of shitting on me, but thinking that they're looking out for her. And I just tip my hat off to my wife, like, nah, my husband has always figured it out. I'm not going to get these folks in his business, and we got to answer for this or that. It's just like listening to that shit. And it's one of those things, man, like once they have you, they have you, and it's like a black hole. You get sucked into that shit, man. And it's just so, for somebody like myself, it can be bad, you know what I'm saying? Because they could come after me for all kinds of like just understanding that shit. Like what Pat is saying, it's like, damn, bro, I'm not wrong for feeling the way I feel about that shit.
yeah. Well, I just want to make sure that we clear up on the other side of it, the cultural
That's what
side,
I
because
want to get to.
y'all still talking about
What culture?
economics. But
What
listen,
what
like
culture does liberals have?
this is what I'm trying to explain right now. So, like, okay, abortion. So, like, the conservative view of abortion is, no abortions at all, like ever. You know what I'm saying? Extreme conservative view. The extreme liberal view is abortions for everyone, anytime, forever. You know what I mean? Pills for abortion pills, all different kinds of ways of abortion. But what I'm saying is, like, you can be economically conservative and socially or culturally uh liberal. So, like, you could be conservative on, like, the taxes, like you're saying, and the social programs, and you can still fall on the side of being okay with abortions. Do you get
Well,
what I'm saying?
well, that's a possibility because I mean, I'm not extreme on either one, but yes, I like we were saying a couple minutes ago. You know, any just person is not going to be one thing. I feel to I'm a just person. I try to be fair in you know as fair as I can be. So with that being said, I have to say, I mean, I do not believe in abortions, and by me saying unless a certain situations, somebody got raped, incest, like crazy things, I just don't think that you know we should practice that as a culture or as a as a nation unless it's just something that falls outside of the norm, because we're all well no we're all not smart enough, but we have to live with the consequences that things that we've decided, and then now you done made a you know what you considering a mistake because of you just out having fun, you got too drunk one night, like doing foolishness, but you know it's I don't know, man, like I believe, everybody still has the right to choose for themselves. So I mean, I have leeway in my approach to it, but personally, I will avoid it, as much as possible. I know I have, like I'm 30, 35 years old before I had a child because I was responsible with my thoughts and my actions. So,
But I would say that you're economically conservative and a bit socially liberal.
yeah, and I mean, I would say I agree with that, for the most part. I mean, but I think um in my approach to fixing things is probably gonna be more liberal. I mean, not liberal. I mean, more conservative because you know I think in life you have to be tactful. You have to, you can't, you know,
I
where else,
agree with you, but you're still thinking numbers. I think when you think that way, because you're thinking the economic sides of things.
what I
Because
mean.
on the
That's why.
socially side, it's more about feelings, and it's more about like what gets people going. What makes people feel good. What motivates them, and you can't quantitate that.
Well, I mean, but that's the thing. I mean, most of us are adults, and we have to, you know, make decisions out of, what makes sense and not just in my feelings. You know what I'm
And I
saying?
agree with you, and I live that way. But we still have to acknowledge the reality that we're human and we're
But
emotional.
I get that, and that's why I have leeway, and I don't necessarily judge anybody. I'm gonna say necessarily because I guess I really still do in my mind, but overall, I still try to, like I still like I know everybody's not thinking like me, and I've tried not to have a superior mindset, but for people who are not thinking like that, I mean, it kind of just falls like that, it makes me a little more superior in my thinking than they do. You know what I'm saying? Not as a human being, but if you are careless and just all of a sudden you in a feel good moment and you shooting off in somebody and you get somebody pregnant, then now you want to be like, well, I don't know, we shouldn't do this. This ain't the right thing. Here, I got 300, I got $400, whatever it's gonna take, let's go on and on. Like, bro, that's irresponsible.
Yeah.
And we have to be men, and I think women have to be women. A lot of times, they end up, they might really want it if the man is gonna be responsible, but they
But
might be pushed to go have an abortion because they know they can't take care of a child by themselves. So like, it's
because it's a sorry ass nigga that. But then they let that nigga bust a nut in them, and that's what I tell my daughter. It's at the end of the day, you're the one. You're the one who got to deal with this baby, you know, regardless. So if you letting a nigga bust nuts up in you, then that's you fucking asking to be fucking pregnant. I didn't
well,
say it like that, but we
well,
did have a
I,
conversation like
I'm
that.
sure. Yeah, I'm sure. I know
Let
what
me read
Doc say.
Doc's comment. Biggest misconception of people that argue for or against communism: one, taxes are not theft, and two, social programs and infrastructure are not socialism. I think we had a reasonable compromise. It was long enough for them to find out and make a reasonable decision. As a man, though, my choice in the matter ended when I spunked one up there without protection.
Yeah, sounds. I mean, I think me and Doc fall in the same kind of mindset. I mean, I know that I know these social programs is not socialism, but at the same time, you know, we can. I'm sure you and Deuce Doc know somebody that has tried to figure out, not just somebody, groups of people that tend to use it as long as they can. Well, food stamps, like they're not trying to get out of the hole while they have that period of
Yeah.
using
They're
these
just trying to milk
programs.
it as long as
Yeah,
possible.
like they trying to figure out ways with them. All right, well, if I can do such and such hair, I can do this or that and whatever, and that way, I can do it under the radar, so I can get this. Like they're trying to maximize that way instead of actually, you know, doing something that's truly going to change their lives, so that the same effort you give day to day really provides for you all the things that you're doing through the scam.
Yeah.
I, and I've seen that many times to where I'm like, all right, you know what? To each his own, but that's that's some bullshit.
Let's focus on this comment right here a little bit. When he said the biggest misconception of people that argue for or against communism is taxes are not theft and social programs and infrastructure are not socialism. So, and I totally get what you're saying, Doc. And I think he understands this the way I do, because I be saying that it's a mix. All of them are a mix, and then people get confused and then they're like communism, but I'm like infrastructure. I'm like healthcare. I'm like education. You know what I'm saying? And then they're like socialism. Wait a
Yeah,
minute. You don't want your kids to be educated? You don't want roads? You know what I'm saying? The fuck out of here.
well, and I think sometimes especially with our conversation and how you may perceive what I've actually expressed, but you don't really I guess know my full thought, because we're just having a short conversation in most cases about one issue. But overall, I mean, I do understand the fact that our government has found ways to neglect people from like obstruct ways for people to make it in this country. So a lot of the things that they throw at you are necessary for you to make it. But in that same motion, if you are being sucked in, which I think they would prefer to happen, because if you're on aid, any kind of welfare, any kind of aid from the government, you're not in a winning position and not close to it. So when you take your eye off the prize, off of the things that you really, how you really want to see your life, I don't think anybody, I mean, if anybody, like, I don't, for the most part, I don't think anybody is really like, man, I can't wait till I'm old enough to get on welfare. Like kids have big dreams. I want to be a police officer. I
Bro,
want to be a doctor.
I want to
Nobody
have
said
8 kids
no.
and get
Nobody is as a
child
kid
support for
is.
each one and
Yeah,
and
no kid is
food
saying
stamps.
I want to be a welfare queen. Like that's never the case. So you give up on your dreams because of, or even, you know, like just the pursuit of happiness has failed once a lot of people get those services.
Yeah. And I
So
but
that's
but
that's
but
that's
but
that's 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 the part that plays in me saying that's not good. That's why I don't,
and I
what I'm
can't
saying.
argue with that really, because some people don't have a pursuit for happiness, not really,
So
because they know that these little temporary whatevers isn't gonna, they're just looking for thrills. um the thing about taxes are not theft. It's like taxes are theft, especially when the taxes are going into these politicians' pockets and these damn private contractors. And and social programs are socialism. And that's us helping each other. And that's the basic freaking principle of it. And then these damn big companies are the ones who benefit the most from the social type programs. Like I said before, they get all of these damn incentives and shit. So it's socialism for the rich, and it's rugged um uh what's the word I'm looking for? Capitalism for the poor. Rugged and ruthless, like cutthroat, eat dog capitalism for the poor and communism for the rich, for these big companies. They get to share the wealth. They get to get money from the public.
Well, taxes is robbery. I
That's what
agree
I'm
with you
saying.
on. I agree with you on that because I mean, the people who don't pay should be the biggest contributors. Like they should be the ones, even if they had the lowest rate possible, there should be a minimum that, the billionaires, the trillionaires, even millionaires are, will have to pay, even if it's a base, even if it came to where, as an individual, the minimum is 25,000 a year that, or 10,000 a year. I don't know, like, I mean, the 10,000 wouldn't make a difference, but I think like as a percentage, even if these people paid 1 or 2% instead of 5 or 10, that, or even because I think shit, a lot of us paying, 20. Even if they were paying 5 or something less than 10%, like everybody should be contributing to the country that you live in or that you love so much. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
you're robbing your country when you don't do that. And then
Right.
when you make policies that force average everyday people who actually don't make income, they're truly making wages. Wages aren't supposed to be taxed, at least from I don't know now, if they've changed the law in some way, but wages weren't supposed to be taxed. But income, capital gains, is what was supposed to be taxed, because it's just like, you're getting free money, you didn't really work for the money, you should pay taxes on that. And they find ways to look, like they all have control of how that stuff is going to work. And then the small guy who really could use those extra $100 a week, $200 a week, whatever it is that they have to pay in the taxes for food. But they have to, what I'm saying, somebody who's on welfare, who's already not making it, you still got to pay taxes. So, I mean, you're in a bad shape already to begin with. And then they're putting you in a worse situation because they're taking away of those few dollars that could help you where they're not helping you in other ways. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, it's a scam. I mean, it's all a scam. Like, we've said it enough times, I guess, that we're dealing with criminals.
And the comment that, let me read his comment. He says, you're talking corruption in government that does not equate to taxes, theft. You're saying people are stealing the tax money. I agree with you, Doc. And I think that is what I'm saying. And yeah, so taxes are
People are still,
necessary.
wait a minute, hold on. People are stealing the taxes? What I don't understand.
He's saying that's what I was saying earlier, because that's basically what I was saying. So I agree with you, Doc, for clarification, because you're good at that. He says you're talking corruption in government. That does not equate to taxes, theft. You're saying people are stealing the tax money. He's talking about what I was saying earlier.
Okay.
Each tax bracket should have a minimum, no deductions below this amount, of course, on a graduate level, like 0 to 10 on each level. I want to talk about this right quick because I want to wrap it. I'm tired. We lost Deuce. He said he had to go. I wanted to talk about the journalist in Mexico, but I think I'm gonna save that for next show. So, but let's quickly go over the Palestine thing. Here it is. Because I put this in the title, so I got to talk about this.
About what's happening. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. An Israeli court has rejected a petition by a Palestinian family to let them rebuild their home in the Sheikh Jarrah neighborhood in occupied East Jerusalem, a week after the Israeli military destroyed their home, demolished it. On January 19th, Israeli forces raided the home of the Saleh family early in the morning while the family slept. Several members of the family were assaulted. At least 6 were arrested. Mahmoud Saleh and his daughter Yasmin spoke about what happened.
At 2 a.m., my son woke me up and said that the army are entering the house. I couldn't leave the room. They came in and arrested me. They stepped on my back, and the officer said, "I told you I will come, evict you from your home, and I will let you leave your house like a dog, barefoot." He stepped on my back and told me, "Put your head down." I told him I never put my head down.
The house was demolished. I saw videos and live videos. My heart is broken. I don't know how to express myself. The house that I was raised in now is torn up. Everything in the house is gone. The feeling is so hard to see that my father's hard work for 25 years is demolished. Our memories, my father's heritage in this land, everything is gone. Even the cats and animals that were raised in the land are gone.
At least another 18 Palestinians who were at the home in solidarity with the family were also detained. Palestinians say it's the latest in a series of evictions aimed at expropriating land for Israeli settlers in violation of international law. We're joined now by Mohammed El-Kurd, a Palestine correspondent for The Nation, author of the recently published book of poems Rifka. His family's home is in the Sheikh Jarrah neighborhood of occupied East Jerusalem. He's joining us, though, now from New York City. Mohammed, welcome back to Democracy Now! Can you explain what happened to the Saleh family? In fact, before the Israeli military destroyed their home, they said that they would burn it down to resist the eviction and the destruction. Tell us why their home was destroyed and what happened.
Absolutely, and thank you, Amy. It's good to be back. We've all seen the videos of the Saleh family's home being demolished. It's important to note that the Israeli occupation court ruled that their land would be expropriated for quote-unquote public use for the building of a special needs school. The house, in fact, did not have a demolition order on it. What many Palestinians see this as is, in fact, an act of revenge because the Saleh family stood its ground on the eviction day and confronted the forces and said that they would burn themselves alive should they be thrown out of their homes. And so this violent spectacle, this coming in and smacking down the doors and at dawn under the cover of darkness and insulting you and arresting and detaining the people in solidarity with you is not just to intimidate Palestinians and quell their resistance, but it's also to send a victory image to the Israeli audience that was very intimidated by the Saleh family's powerful stance against this possession. This is, in fact, an act of revenge. It also must be pointed that this is illegal under international law, given that Israeli jurisdiction over Palestinian land is illegitimate.
Can you talk about the neighborhood of Sheikh Jarrah where you...
I don't want to bore you out to death, but do y'all get like that? I don't know if y'all really get it. Like what's happening there? They are really petty. The Israeli government is super petty. The little comment the guy made, I really like the way she pronounces the Islamic names too. Like she's got to be able to speak Arabic. She says the stuff way too well. But and that just made me. I was just thinking about that. But the way they do things is super petty. So like the comment the guy made about, this is a retaliation because it made the people of Israel feel some kind of way in the defiance that family had. And that's one of the reasons why they, leveled their house. And then later on in the video, I don't know if we played it, but they were going to say about how it's like eminent domain. They were going to say they wanted to build a freeway or some kind of a park or some shit like that. And they're trying to say that's the reason why they were tearing down the house. You understand? And that's how they do it all the time. It's that eminent domain type of thing. Like here in the States, we have the freeways and, trains and shit that go through the hood. Fucking that train over there in Third Ward. I watched that shit get built, over there, right there where TSU and U of H is at. What street is that? Scott Street. I remember when there was no train there, and like that's the hood over there, and they sent that train through there because that's the hood. It killed a lot of the businesses that was there, little mom and pop restaurants and stuff, and people's homes. Anyways, that's why I just wanted to cover that. Hopefully you guys know what I'm talking about. Because I'll probably come back to that again some more.
Yeah, that
For
might
the
be
next
better
show.
for me. That might be
For
better
the
for
next
me
show.
because like I'm starting to get a little
Yeah, me too.
leery.
Yeah, me too. So I think what I'll do is for the next show, early in the show, I'll cover this, and I wanted to cover the Damn, I done forgot now because I'm fucking tired. Hold on, I'm gonna look at it. The journalist being killed in Mexico and how it's related to the drug war in the United States. And it also has to do with weapons flowing from the United States into Mexico. Illegal weapons. Well, they're bought legally, but then smuggled illegally and used for crimes over there because it's hard to trace.
So and they killed him. So I mean, yeah, I'm sure no backstory. So and when did this happen?
It's a whole thing. So that's why I say I'm gonna talk about it tomorrow because it's a whole thing. It's complex, yeah, related to journalism, the drug cartels, the U.S. government, and also illegal movement of weapons. And the Mexican government, what's his name? Lopez Obrador. One of the murders, like the lady went to the president and was asking him for protection, and then she got killed like the next day or 2 days later or something like that. And he didn't know nothing about it, the president, until later, like after the fact. But he took it personally that she came to the president and was asking for help, and she ended up getting killed. And so he said that this is what, and I'm gonna play the video because that's what I was gonna play today. But he said that, I'm taking this personally, so I'm gonna do a thorough ass investigation on this one. We're gonna figure this one out.
Okay.
It's the latest lady who got killed. It's a Hispanic chick, got killed like 2 days ago or whatever. She's a journalist. And they killed like 200 journalists in the last year in Mexico. It's a dangerous place to be journalists. Oh, he said that's the Lourdes Maldonado Lopez. Yeah. Thanks for clearing that up, Doc. I suck at names. Yeah, we're gonna wrap it, man. I'm tired. We're 3.5 hours. It's 4 a.m. here in Houston, and I gotta work tomorrow. So I'm gonna play the game a little while to wind down, and then I'm gonna go to sleep. So thank y'all for joining. Thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for supporting the channel. Thank y'all, Deuce Doc, my Twitter follower, whoever else was here. Thank y'all for being here. And whoever's watching this, thank y'all for listening. Peace and love, and y'all have a good night.
Yep. Peace.
Because I thought you would have, maybe.
Yeah. Woke up.
That you could believe in, that is gonna still guide you towards fear, or things that's gonna take you away from nature. You know what I'm saying? So that just the idea of belief is not necessarily the stronghold.
Right. You know, you got to have some science backing up. Doc says it's the secret quantum physics, the combined power of all mankind's belief become an energy field that we can draw on and use to manipulate our world. We are created in God's image as a spiritual being connected to the universe. The meat sack is just the shell. We are the power.
Yeah.
Well said, Doc.
Yep, well said. And I think we can end on that. That's like
that's perfect.
You know what I'm saying?
Peace and love. Thank y'all for joining. Thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for your time. Thank y'all for commenting. Thank y'all for liking and sharing and subscribing and telling your friends.
Yeah. Thank y'all for everything. Getting our viewership up. You know, I think our viewership will be growing a lot more in the near future. So we thank y'all in advance.
Yeah.
Come and join the club.
Yep. Come join the conversation. Come chat with me and Pat.
I didn't know that you realized that.
Because I thought you would have, maybe.